Clue 2021 New Year's special.
Are you ready to rumble?
No.
Can you dig it?
Do you smell
What? Wait, do you smell
what half a clue is cooking?
Oh,
My
okay.
God, you didn't
Yeah.
know? You didn't know that reference?
No,
It's a 2021.
Half a clue.
I'm not into wrestling. I'm sorry.
I feel like, not to
go.
jump the gun, I feel like Belfast, like that little kid's so chipper, that's you guys, and I'm the war of destruction. in the background.
I
I'm
can't
the
wait.
Chipper too. You know,
I
in
can't
the
wait
trouble moment.
for Blake to throw a Molotov cocktail into our lives.
Yeah, and then it has a song from High Noon. Oh no 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 no! Your least favorite part of the movie.
you guys are the little boy that's all chipper and happy, and I'm
Yeah.
the explosions
Okay.
and violence in
So-
the background.
This is our Half a Clue 2021 New Year's special, where we kind of examine of everything that we've seen up to this year. And unfortunately, some movies got cut out mainly because, one, like, you know, I'm sorry for the people who are, you know, foreign film nuts. A lot of those foreign films just haven't been released in the U.S. yet.
We'll probably cover them though.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we'll have a future episode where we cover the best picture, best foreign film nominees and stuff like that. Like literally the worst person in the world, which I really want to see, probably would have made my list. It's not coming out till February 4th.
Yeah, that's kind of the
2022.
trouble with doing end of the year lists, is that there are things that are cut out. Like I know for me, like I really wanted to see Sean Baker's new movie.
That was
and,
good.
And
yeah.
chances are that would have been on my top 10 list, but unfortunately I couldn't see it. Hopefully we'll still cover it. I guess I really want to.
Like, you know, you could have. You could have been out for a while. You know, I'm just saying. Yeah.
Well, hopefully
Yeah.
in the future we can cover it.
Blake getting on somewhere to go somewhere, it's a very hard task. You know what I mean? Just okay. So yeah, stuff like that. Or there's some movies where like it was literally not accessible. Like Vendetta, like was not available to rent or buy. You guys know Paul Verhoeven, right?
Yeah.
The guy who made the Starship Troopers and stuff like that.
Yes.
Yeah. So he came out with a new film about lesbian nurses. I mean not nurses, lesbian nuns. Apparently it was really good and fucking crazy. But it wasn't really available to rent until recently. So
Your
stuff like
move,
that.
Creep. He also did RoboCop.
RoboCop, yeah. What's it called? Yeah, and Showgirls. Yeah.
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 With the most tumultuous
Pool sex.
yeah, pool sex scene ever recorded on film.
Yeah. So this is what we've seen this year, and you know we try to watch as much as we can, and we will have a revised list once we do our Oscars episode, because at that point we'll have seen most of the films that are probably going to be on this list. All right. So it's been a crazy year. This is 2021. We've just come out of the year of 2020 where we're just recovering from the year of pandemic. And that has been honestly a shit year for movies, 2020. And it was crazy too, because that followed up one of the best years of movies, I think 2019. And with you know, Parasite and stuff like that in 1917.
Yeah, some really good shit.
And then 2020 was like, honestly, I mean, there was some good stuff in 2020, like Nomadland, Minari, and stuff like that.
Judas and the Black
Messiah.
Messiah.
Yeah, Minari's 2021. It's fine.
No, it came out. You know, it came out
Well,
like in Sundance, and I've seen it in 2020.
It's kind of
You know what I
hard
mean?
because
Yeah.
like for example, it's kind of hard though, because for me, the first movie I saw this year in theaters was Judas and the Black Messiah. So I actually put that on my list here, and then Philip
Yeah.
informed me that's actually, and it did run in last year's Oscars.
Honestly,
but-
how do you define?
If it's competing for the Oscars of like the 2020, then it's a 2020 film. If it's
Okay.
competing for the
I get
year of
that.
2021,
But technically,
then
But
people
also-
didn't see these movies until.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
2021.
Yeah, like we didn't. Most of us, like when like
Right.
the wide release for like Minari. Just saying. Like I saw that in February because that was when the wide
Yeah,
release
same.
was, at least here. So like I consider that a
you couldn't go to
2021
Sundance
film.
in 2020.
No, I tried.
What the
but,
fuck
like,
is wrong?
Like
they
I
wouldn't
couldn't
let me,
see
man.
like Judas and the Black Messiah. That was the first movie I think I saw this year, and that was in like March. That's when like Harkins opened up finally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, and that's
I saw
a
Tenet,
weird.
unfortunately.
That's
in
why
theaters.
the 2020 and 2021 classification has been really fucked with the pandemic. Because if there was no pandemic, those films would all came out in December, like at once. Like Cyrano is out in like we couldn't. By the way, I'm sorry we couldn't cover Cyrano. It's out in like one fucking theater in like New York and stuff like that. But it's considered a 2021 movie, even though it's coming
Philip,
out.
See,
in
I'm surprised you
that's
didn't
just so dumb.
Go out there.
No,
I would have honestly if I was in Rome.
like, why can't they just give stuff wide releases? Why do they
Well,
have
no,
to pack
because-
it all towards the end of the year? It's really just starting
'cause
to annoy me.
It's because of the Oscars qualification that it has to play at least in 1 or 2 theaters, and then for a certain amount of time in order to be qualified for that competing year Oscars. But then also at the same time, they don't want to release it then because you'll be competing with films like Spider-Man: No Way Home. Let's just say Cyrano came out in Christmas, it would be a huge flop. Like everything that came out in Christmas was a huge flop.
Mhm.
Yeah, Red Rocket hence in the case, they did a limited release for a little bit to get as much money as they can in those big markets that they do well. But it came out wide on the 25th, and it absolutely flopped. So that's unfortunate. That's why. But it's a whole thing. It's a whole topic. Maybe we'll have a video about it. Even before, and 2021. So we've been in recovery. A lot more movies that came out. Theaters have been reopened for the mass public. Almost fully open to the most point, and we're not having these weird seating restrictions anymore. But also there's been some tragedies. Most recently, John Mark died. He's a director of Big Little Lies, Dallas Buyers Club, and Wild. He's honestly
Sharp Objects.
Sharp Objects. Did you like that movie show?
No, but my good friend Sam has been telling me to watch it every day since it came out.
Oh, it seemed like when you said it seemed like you were like a big fan. Like, how dare you not mention Sharp Objects? I thought it was okay, but it was
if Sam were here, he would want you to mention
Yeah,
Sharp
he would.
Objects.
It's
You made it sound like Sam died. Sam was here with us.
yeah.
If he were, then yes.
If he was present at this table.
It's weird. I don't know.
He's
It's just
alive.
weird when it's just weird when he died, where it's like, because he's like 58, and from what I knew, he was like a huge like health guru guy or whatever, and he has so much going for his career. Like I said, honestly, tragic passing. We hope the best for his friends and family. It's talent we'll miss. Whether we do, we'll see. We'll see. Oh, hopefully he's fine. I mean, he's dead, but I'm hoping that his friends and family.
Okay,
if
you're
it is
not allowed
lost.
to talk about dead people anymore. You just butchered that so bad.
I don't know. It's just honestly when I first found out, it was like so random. Like, I saw it on Deadline, and like he passed away, and I was just like, and he was like prepping for another TV series or something, right? And I was just excited. Like, whenever he comes out, it's like a different, weird, unique take. Like Big Little Lies is a weird, unique take on rich white ladies like living life in like a rich white area. And
I mean, who doesn't love rich white ladies living life in a rich white area?
Yeah,
I mean,
but
it's called Desperate Housewives.
Oh, it's
and he
called
does it in
Spencer.
What?
Anyway.
Oh, wow.
Not yet,
Super
Bron.
rich.
But I don't know. Like, ultimately, you will be missed, and we'll mourn the movies and stuff, and also just the life that you lived. R.I.P. All right. So, what do you guys think of 2021 for movies?
It was like,
It was
And
decent.
how was it in comparison for 2020 and 2019?
Okay, so it was decent, but I'm going to have a hard time comparing it to 2020 and 2019 simply because for about like 3 or 4 years before 2021, I really just didn't get a chance to keep current with what was going on with movies and stuff. I was just working so much that it kind of just, I would watch episodes of TV here or there, but I couldn't watch anything more than 30 minutes because I was basically constantly on call or sleeping.
Yeah,
So,
that makes
yeah.
sense. Yeah.
this year didn't have Tenet, so it's a huge plus.
It's honestly been a vast improvement in
Yeah.
terms of cinema. The fact that, Tenet doesn't count for this year. No, I think overall it's been a pretty great year for movies. Like I'd say possibly the best in film history, thanks to Spencer. Being the greatest film of all time, honestly. Unmatched in scope. It's bold. It's absolutely incredible. I know we're not supposed to be talking about a specific film yet, but I mean, I just want to say that it's possibly the greatest film I've ever witnessed. It touched me metaphysically. It transcended my physical form. I saw the eyes of God, and they pierced through my soul and burned away my sins. And behold the world as the newborn babe, naked, afraid, but reborn, thanks to Kristen fucking Stewart. So overall, I'd say it was a pretty good year, honestly.
That was good. So he got touched. Yeah, he got touched.
Yeah.
He had ice cream with the priest, and that's
Yep.
what happened.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Do you need me to get the little doll so you can point it out for
Yeah,
me?
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
Bravo.
It's
That's his
Yeah.
network.
Beyond.
That's his network speech.
Yeah.
Right now.
there you go.
What's it called? I'm so mad.
I'll
That's
have
it called.
more.
I
later.
thought it was an okay.
I'm not gonna take it anymore.
By the way,
I thought it was an okay.
When we get into some of the most overrated films, we'll talk about that. Yeah, so you thought it was okay?
I thought it was okay. I mean, obviously, it's an improvement of last year because last year, shutdowns and everything. I still think it's like kind of hard to count this as a whole year because we really didn't get into the theaters till March. Everything still kind of felt shuffled around, but it felt like it felt a lot more of a normal year for
Yeah.
movies. I don't think it was as good as 2019 personally.
Oh no, 2019 will go down as one of the best years.
And of
for
course,
movies ever.
my favorite year of modern film was 2017. I just loved a lot of movies that came out that year.
Yeah, that was good.
I think it was a good year to get on track. So we'll see.
Yeah, everything kind of felt like it was more falling back into place.
Yes.
So-
So it's still
2022.
it's still kind of a weird year.
It's a recovery
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, 2017 was a great year to like Call Me by Your Name, Blade Runner 2049.
Dude, I could like sit here for an hour and tell you about how much I loved 2017.
Yeah,
A bunch of other shit came out too that like people don't even talk about, like Beach Rats, Ingrid Goes West. There's just a lot of.
Ingrid Goes West is an underrated film. Made me
There's-
super uncomfortable watching it.
I love Ingrid Goes
it was
West.
good. Yeah,
I've
that's what
watched
I'm
that
saying,
movie
in a
like
good way.
6 times.
6 times.
Yeah,
Wow,
I love
okay.
that movie.
All right, I don't love it that much, but all right. For me, ultimately, yeah, it was a recovery year. It's satisfactory, better than 2020. Not as great as years like 2019 or 2017, particularly 2019 because they had like one of the best fucking films ever, like Parasite in 1917, and that was just like a huge bout. Like,
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
yeah, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. You know, who knows? That might actually be his last film. Who knows? Maybe he's like, he finds out about this 45-day streaming exclusive, and he's like, no, I'm not gonna make another film ever. That's Tarantino. That's my impression of him.
I doubt it.
That's-
He's got such
He'll
a
come
hard
back.
on for cinema. There's no way that he can stay away. He's gonna write something and then he's gonna like want to come
He's
back.
gonna do the Christopher Nolan deal. Remember that baller thing that Christopher Nolan did? After
Yeah.
he got fucked over by or after Warner Brothers fucked over people, he's like, okay, Universal, you could have my movie, but it has to be $100 million. I get $20 million. I get 20% of the first day gross. On top of that, it has to be in theater for at least 100 days. It can't be in the streaming for like another 200 days. Yeah, on top of that, I get whoever casts what I want and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
he's one of the handful of directors who can swing that. You know,
Yeah.
who someone
Well,
will be
not
like,
anymore.
No,
Well-
he just did that.
No, he just did.
He just did
He
that.
just did that
Nolan
right
just
now.
did that.
Nolan
Yeah.
just did that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After Tenet?
Yeah, Tenet,
yeah.
Tenet was one of the highest grossing films during the pandemic era.
It did.
And it's one of the worst movies of all
Oh.
time, maybe.
It's
That
like, I'm not
disappoints
gonna
my
mention it
soul.
all. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna mention it. That
yeah.
that's
Let's
the
not
whole
get too
topic.
hung up on
So-
Yeah.
Tenet and
So we
No.
will be. So we overall, just so you guys know what this episode. We'll go into 2021's. Some of the more underrated movies or underrated movies of that year. Then we got into some of the most overrated movies this year, and now we also get to the most overlooked movies this year. And if you guys are wondering what's the difference between the three, our definition for underrated is pretty much any film that received low critical acclaim or received less critical acclaim than we think it deserves. And for overrated movies, is it received way more critical acclaim or accolades than we think it deserves. And Miles' eyes are just lighting up with excitement because he's just excited by his choice, and I know his choice. And also you're also very excited because I could tell. You wrote an entire paragraph.
Oh, my
Yeah.
overrated movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, and then the most overlooked movies where it's like not necessarily they didn't have enough critical acclaim or something like that. It's just the films was ignored by the award circuit or was ignored by audiences, right? So, and like I said, we'll and then we get into movies and just general movies to recommend, and then we get into our top 10 worst and top 10 best. And one of the rules that I gave everybody so that it'll be a little bit more interesting, and then we have more movies to discuss, is that once you pick a film for that category, you can't mention it in any other categories, and including
It's
your
a
top
very
10.
frustrating rule.
It
Like I
is
said.
very frustrating because
But it forces you. It forces
There's a
you to
lot
pick
of
more
overlap
movies.
for me.
Yeah.
Like that was like with Blake on the phone. I'm like, dude, what about all the movies you watch on
Me
the
and,
podcast?
Philip were arguing at like 3 a.m. last night. That's not a joke.
Yeah, because you didn't know what underrated, overrated, and we had to explain to you. You know what I mean? And what's a
To be fair,
2020?
you had to
Uh.
explain that to everyone.
Yeah, because like I said, I won't get into it now because it'll be a whole discussion and what journalistic standards and whatever all that stuff because it'll be a boring podcast.
Philip will mansplain everything.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, not even Asian mansplaining.
yes,
You
no,
know what I mean?
Philip is great at that. That's like his go-to move
Unmatched.
right there.
If there's a
Yeah.
top 10, he'd be
Of
1 through 10.
mansplaining, of course.
Yeah.
Because you're all my bitches. You know what I mean? I'm just kidding. That's how we were.
Wow,
No, just kidding.
you're making me feel very violated right now, Philip. Am I gonna have to file a lawsuit against you?
I'll do a countersuit and just violate you more.
Oh
That's how we
God!
work.
See, this is the harassment I have to put up with.
And by the way,
if
we're
anybody
joking
in
when
court is
there's no
listening to
actual
this.
sense of
Yeah.
violation. So don't take it seriously. Cancel culture mob. Okay, so let's start off with our first category: 2021's most underrated movies, or just some of the underrated movies you've seen that's outside of your list. So let's start off with you. Miles?
Yeah, so Blue Bayou is what I think is one of the most underrated movies of this year. I'm not going to say that it was, a fantastic masterpiece, but I really enjoyed watching it as a movie, and all the reception that I've seen of it has been kind of meh, and it's kind of just been met with a lot of disregard. Unfortunately, because it was a good movie, I still don't think that it was as good as Gook, but it was still a really good outing from Justin Chon.
I completely agree, and as we discussed in our Justin Chon episode. But that film was like, I think when it first came out, I was surprised because like all his other films were kind of critically acclaimed and stuff like that, high 80s, 90s, and stuff. But this one hit in the low 70s, and it got like average rating 6.6, and Metacritic was like 58. It was pretty low, and one of the big complaints was that one is emotional and manipulative, and it received controversy with saying they're taking too much from a story of other Korean adoptee victims.
I would agree
but
with
I
the
just look at a
emotional
film-
manipulative stuff. It just felt like they were like really trying to like sap you for like emotions. And there's a lot
I
of
don't know.
stuff
It wasn't
there.
ham-fisted though.
I felt it was
I-
at times,
I like
especially
it-
the ending.
Yeah, I like it a lot, but it's probably my least favorite Justin Chon movie, especially like months after, like just seeping all three of his movies in.
Oh, okay,
It's-
so that changed a little bit now. Miss Purple
Yeah,
went
I do
above.
think I still think that the G one is my favorite. Miss Purple, which I initially didn't like, I think has really sat well with me
The
with
G1?
time. You know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
I don't want to say. I don't want
You
to
can
say
just
the word.
say it. It's just the name of the
I don't
film.
want to say the word.
Okay, fine. Honestly.
That's my favorite
G1.
by far. Miss Purple, which was initially my least favorite. I think like upon time and thinking about it, I just like it more. It's definitely one I have to revisit. So yeah, but I agree that it was a little underrated. Not enough people really talked about it. I kind of had like buzz for a day and then just kind of disappeared.
Yeah, and then completely went out of theaters, and also just like critically, and that's it took a beating, but definitely way less than his other two films.
Yeah, I'd agree that it is underrated, but yeah, I liked it. It was good, but it definitely deserves some more praise.
And it's definitely a movie that you should at least try to watch, I would say.
Yeah, I agree.
It's worth the watch. And,
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
For me, for underrated films where, this film's took a critical savage beating, and it actually probably was I think better than what the critics gave it, was a little bit cheap, but and both of these films we talked about. One is actually I think this was Miles' pick back for an episode.
yeah, and you gave
Right.
me so much shit about it.
I still don't like it that much because we replaced an episode where we actually could have talked about great shit.
Mm.
What's it called? And that great shit I'll mention.
Oh, okay,
later
well,
on.
I was just like projecting it to be good, and I mean, it wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. I'll give it that.
What do you mean?
But
The reviews already came out like Miles. Look. There's evidence. There's statistics.
okay,
That saying you probably
yeah,
won't like it.
I don't trust the evidence of freaking movie critics and reviewers. It never sat right with me that
and
that
then you
was
wa- and then you watch it and you're like-
everybody needs to make their own opinions and form their own opinions.
I'm totally okay with like watching it and making your own opinion. I'm talking about making a content episode. What's it called? And making us suffer through that. By the way, Ron, was luckily enough away on work, so he wasn't able to see it. But it's called Reminiscence. Where it like completely got savaged by critics when it came out, like 32, like 20. Like people made it really seem like a piece of shit film. It's not. It's an average film. It's maybe slightly.
I
more
wouldn't.
average.
I would say that it's a decent film actually compared to a
I would
lot
not
of the
call
shit
it
that we've
decent.
gotten.
I would
Uh,
not call it decent. It's fine.
It was a cool idea, and I don't know. I
Yeah, the
enjoyed
cool
watching
idea-
it.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of movies that are cool. Old is technically a cool idea.
Yeah,
Yeah,
by the way,
but
this Reminiscence has a lower critical rating than Old.
See, that's
That's crazy,
yeah.
right? That's
no,
crazy.
Yeah,
so,
it doesn't
no,
deserve
it's
that.
definitely
That's what I'm saying.
That's
underrated.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a derivative sci-fi film, like they're taking away ideas from Blade Runner, Ghost in the Shell, etc. Blah blah blah, The Matrix, and even from Westworld, which she worked on, Lisa Joy. But like I said, it's a first time film. It's okay, maybe slightly below average, but relatively enjoyable. And the other one is Eternals. I won't get into it, but wow, 48%, lowest rated Marvel film of all time. Is it really the worst one? I don't really think so. I think Ron, you kind of agree with me on that one.
Yeah, that was gonna be my backup one because all my picks have been taken. But yeah, no, I think Eternals is one that it got too much shit. It's not as bad as like I think a lot of people did. I think a lot of people had that knee-jerk reaction because it was so different from other Marvel films. And I've heard other people argue that like no, they want all their Marvel films to be like directly connected and to have like their direct associations to everything else in the MCU. And I'm like, that's fine, but also like I think it's gonna be a real like crutch to like the MCU if they get to feel that to do that to every single Marvel property. Like that's gonna just really weigh things down. So I applaud Eternals for taking a lot of the more bolder choices that they did, but it still wasn't great. Like I think it's it's definitely one of their weaker. films, but it doesn't deserve as much hate as it got, I think.
But
Lower
it-
rated than Thor: The
so-
Dark World.
So
Yeah,
you're,
that's
you're saying
ridiculous.
that compared to other Marvel movies, it's low rated.
No,
But see,
no,
the
no, no,
thing
no. I'm
is,
not
I think
saying
that-
compared to other Marvel movies. I'm just saying generally. It's getting
Yeah.
way too much shit. Because right now it's
48.
it's sitting at it's
46?
no, hold on, sorry, I just had it.
Yeah, it was like a lamb. I was like,
it's at a
47.
47%.
But I mean, there's a lot of Marvel movies that I think should be at a 47%.
I
So wait,
agree.
wait. To be fair,
not what
Miles-
we're talking about.
Miles has
though.
not seen this movie, and
No,
he's
I
making his
haven't.
suppositions.
Yeah.
It's like, Miles, you're out of this conversation.
I'm kind of agreeing with both of you because I agree. I like Eternals. I'll just come out and say it, and I don't like much Marvel anything. It definitely has gotten more shit than it deserves. However, at the end of the day, it's still a fucking Marvel movie.
Thank
And
you.
that's fine.
Thank
so.
you, Blake.
Yeah, sure.
that's
Like,
I mean, it is literally a Marvel movie, hence
Yeah.
Marvel Studios.
Yeah, I'm
So we
just
can all
saying.
agree that it is a Marvel movie.
Yes.
But when you guys say Marvel movie, it has different connotation
Yeah.
than when we say it's a Marvel
Yeah,
movie.
it's like I think most Marvel movies are at the very least like C grade, you know? Like they're passable. There's nothing offensive or wrong or that bad about them unless you talk about Black Widow, which we'll get into later.
Yeah,
Well,
but
there was
like-
one lady at the movie theater who was very offended by Eternals.
I think you didn't
that
watch
took
it.
my ticket. No.
Oh, yeah.
No, I go into the movie theaters to go see it. I think I went to go see Spencer.
Instead?
Yeah.
Oh, what a
Instead.
shame.
Oh, I remember you
Yeah,
texted me this.
And she
a
was
better
like,
movie
and she
than
was like, "Oh,
fucking
yeah, you're
Eternals."
like one of the only people not seeing Eternals." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm not really into the whole Marvel shit." And then she goes on this rant about how there's a gay couple in Eternals, and she is so offended by it. And I can't be like,
well,
now
that
we're
lady-
treading into territory.
no, but I can't be like you're ignorant or anything because she kind of had a mental disability, but. Like,
Okay.
physically,
Miles, maybe we should mention this story. Miles,
What the fuck are we
okay.
talking about?
over.
I don't
All right,
know.
Now let's get into Ron, and then what's it called? And I technically excise Blake because he broke the rules. And
I broke the rules purposely, but me and Ron have the same pick.
Yeah, it's fine.
Wait, what do you mean Blake broke
No,
the
you're
rules?
underrated because he has it on his list. and
My
stuff
my
like that.
I
Oh,
my
okay,
underrated.
that's why you'll have the honors of introducing the underrated movie.
Okay, Malignant. Honestly, I was trying to switch over to Eternals, but like Malignant, I'll say underrated right now. They're sitting at I'll say mostly in this terms because I will, I think it kind of goes both ways with audience or like critic reviews because I do kind of take both into account because they both can frustrate me and like reinforce my argument. So whatever. But I'll just say I think Malignant, like for the critics, it's 76%. That's fine. I think that's pretty much where it should sit. But for the audience, it's sitting down at 52%. And I'm just like, nah, man, I think it was better than that. Like, I think it deserves a little more love. I'd say it's a C+. Like, I don't know. I just feel like it's
I had a
Oh.
very
Oh, now, and this is why we're not. Hence, why we're only gonna talk about it once now.
so.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you want to
So-
get into your big paragraph? He has a big paragraph.
So I wrote a big. it's
I
not- it's
think
not
we
really
I think
that
we
big,
each
it's big
wrote a
fun.
paragraph or something.
Oh, yeah.
I wrote a lot of paragraphs.
Yeah, all right, go on, Blake. Go
So
on.
Malignant. I'll just write the note that I put down while preparing this Google document for you fine gentlemen. Malignant. While it's not a masterpiece in modern horror, especially when compared to the recent slew of top-tier talent, I truly believe James Wan was able to create the movie he set out to make. Every single goofy detail seems to be part of his plan in making a modern day B movie mixed with giallo elements. There were several laugh-out-loud scenes accompanied by a new and unique movie monster.
Gabriel.
This movie looks great and only suffers from its first act. I truly believe James Wan made something special here, and something I will be certain to buy on Blu-ray, and something I will certain to watch again, and again.
And I agree
I
with
can
every
agree
single
with you,
point.
yeah.
I do love Malignant.
I love it. There's better movies like it's
that was another movie
there's-
that you
there's-
guys got pissed at me. You were like, "Why'd you make us watch
Wait,
Malignant
no.
instead of the Nighthouse?"
Wait,
What?
no. One, you're getting your facts wrong.
Wait,
By the way, if you guys
I
haven't
don't
noticed,
know.
Miles gets facts wrong
Hey,
all the time. But no.
yeah,
What happened
no,
is
cut
we
that out.
we
Yeah,
we
'cause-
took we took out the Nighthouse. And it was Nighthouse and the Roman Polanski film,
Yeah.
Tenet, which would have been fucking great and made sense. But we took that out for Reminiscence and Inception. And the reason why we put the Malignant episode is because Blake called me after we both watched Malignant. He's like, "Bro, you see Malignant?" I was like, "Yeah, I see Malignant. Should we make an episode?" "Yeah, we'll make an episode." And that's what happened.
I'm glad we made an episode of
hey,
Malignant.
Philip,
Yeah.
Philip,
Oh my.
I got fucking chat logs disproving that. I was saying we
No,
need to
this
watch
is how it
Malignant. We
happened.
no,
This is
this
actually
is
how it
not how.
happened.
Yeah, I remember
No,
I called
I've
Philip
got
and was
fucking
like,
chat logs with you guys saying we need to put Malignant on. We need to put Malignant on. Why are we talking about the Nighthouse? Let's talk about Malignant
Well, I mean-
instead. And then you got pissed off at me because you took off the Nighthouse and put on Malignant.
No,
And Reminiscence and Inception did take the Nighthouse's spot.
Exactly, that's
but-
what happened. Wait,
but
so even
at-
you're saying yourself that's what took the spot.
Yeah, but
No, Malignant. Okay, when I talked about that, it just got because the order got mixed up, right?
yes.
Because you know how Discord works, and before I knew how to reply to specific messages,
Yeah.
so that my message made it seem like it was talking about that, but it was more talking about Reminiscence, the episode.
Okay.
And also too, that's exactly what happened. Like, as you know, you literally called me, right?
I
That's
literally
the-
called Philip while I was at
Yeah.
work and was like, bro, I saw Malignant last night and I'm sorry, whatever we have planned has to go. We have to talk about Malignant.
See, this is
Which
is
is
how
why
little
it's on my
faith they give
list.
me. I tell them I hate horror films, but this looks like a horror film I'll actually be interested in.
Did you like Malignant?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, we all like
Yeah.
Malignant. Yeah.
And I was the first person to say we should watch this and we
I
should
do
talk
agree.
about
I
it
do
on the
agree, yes.
podcast.
On Discord.
On Discord,
Discord,
yes.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
On
Miles
Discord.
did mention this.
Several times.
But
and then
Miles
okay.
Miles did mention Malignant first. However, the reason it came to be was because me and Philip just both really liked it and wanted to
Jeez,
talk about
see,
it.
this is how little they trust me.
Wait, no, I didn't even just. Wait, Miles, it's not fair. How many episodes have I given you this year? The Labyrinth.
Yes.
No, what do you mean? One of these episodes I given to you.
That is
I've
true.
only gave Blake one, which is Nicholas Winding Refn.
Yeah,
How
and
many did I
then, and
give
then you
you?
pick the other 100.
Oh,
Well, no-
I'm sorry, Miles. Whatever happened to Labyrinth and fucking
Hey,
the other one?
those are great.
Wes
those
I'm
are
sure they're great movies. I'm
Yes.
just saying that was definitely your choice.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're back to the. I completely agree with all the millennials. So we're arguing about Discord history, which is great. I love
Yeah,
that.
but no one gives a
That's
shit
called-
that's
yeah.
listening.
Yeah.
What's it called? So yeah,
Gabriel's great.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
if you guys want to hear more,
Gabriel
listen
President.
to our Malignant and
It's a
Tenet
very
Rob
fun
episode.
one. Definitely listen to our
Yes.
Malignant
What's
episode.
it
Yeah.
called?
That's one of my favorite episodes we've done, strangely.
Yeah.
All right. So
Okay.
now let's get into the 2021's most overrated film of the year, and we will. And the reason why we'll save Ron for last is he has an entire 3-paragraph essay on this thing. So first, just to set us all off, because I know your choice is gonna trigger at least half the table. Miles.
It starts with a D and ends with an E, and it's spelled with 4 letters.
What?
It rhymes with boon.
Yeah.
Oh.
Dune.
Oh.
Yeah. I
Oh.
really
That's
think
fair.
that, honestly, it's not a horrible film, but I think it's just gotten too much praise. I didn't think it was that great. It was passable, but, you know.
Passable?
Yeah, it was passable.
Just passable?
Well, there was a lot of issues that I had with it in terms of the sound mixing, like I mentioned many
Yeah.
times before.
Right.
And I just didn't find it all that interesting.
You
So,
think that visuals on the screen is just passable?
no, the visuals are fine,
Yeah,
but
which hence is
I
what-
would say
Okay,
they're more than
no-
fine.
no, but-
more than
personally.
fine. It's excellent.
I would,
Okay,
yeah, I would
yeah,
say
but
they're
if you
incredible.
have bad sound mixing and kind of a subpar story, it's hard to have a
Right.
good movie.
I mean, I
would
personally
hardly-
disagree with you on both, but honestly,
Yeah.
the visuals are so fucking strong. I'm talking about for like let's say for someone like my mom,
Mhm.
who watches it and doesn't understand English that much. She understood the story exactly how it is, and also too, she was
Honestly, I
absolutely
probably
amazed.
would have preferred watching this not in English.
All right.
Okay.
No,
I
I'm
mean,
just
I-
saying.
You know what?
Like,
I
then
mean,
I
look,
wouldn't have
that's
been-
fine.
Yeah.
That's the definition of like, because to be fair, Dune right now it's guaranteed Best Picture nomination lock.
Woo!
Best director lock.
Woo!
Best. It's gonna win all the behind the scenes like production design award and stuff like
I'm
that.
with Miles. I
Good.
don't love it as much as you guys.
I know, I get
I
that,
don't
but I'm just
dislike
saying.
it as much as Miles.
Like
I don't,
would
I'm
give
like
it-
in the middle.
No,
Like,
Miles is
I would give
overplaying
it
it
to
right
like
now
a
'cause
65
he-
to a 70.
He actually
honestly.
did like his opinion improved after watching it.
Yeah,
in theaters.
no, I'm just saying I would give it like a 65 to a 70, right, out of 100. Like, you know, it's a decent film, but it's literally just getting so much acclaim that I don't think that I think that there were many films that were a lot better than that, and I think that it's receiving too much critical acclaim.
I'll say this, and just as I guess a little bit of spoiler, it's not on my list for anything, and the reason why is not because I don't love it. It's actually my favorite experience in theaters, but the reason why I don't have it is because based on Denis Villeneuve's words himself, is that like he said it's literally Dune Part 1, Dune Part 2 is one film, but just because of budget constraints and whatever, it's split over two.
It's a long-ass movie.
releases. So
Yeah.
as
No,
a res-
I do,
yeah.
because I also said that too. Like when I finished watching Dune, I was like, the thing that's holding me back from giving it our best rating of putting it in the museum and stuff is the fact that it is very clearly a part 1. It's only part of the story. So like, I'm pretty sure he's gonna pull off part 2, but like, I'm waiting to see part 2 to say officially like it's in the museum, because there's a lot holding back. There's a lot left to be desired, but that's also because it's not the full story. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens.
It's literally we're only seeing like 2.5 hours of a 5-hour film.
Yeah.
By himself, like it's already been written, production design, all that stuff. So that's why, unfortunately, I had to just completely remove it from my list because it's just not fair to other films that are actually like complete. Like, but in terms of that's the only reason why. If like let's say both films came out right now, I would have been like number one easily.
Yeah, I mean, I just think personally the reason why I rave about it and I think it's so great is because the story really did pull me in.
Yeah.
The world building, the sets, the studio, the casting, the acting, the dialogue, the action set pieces, everything I thought was just so really well done. Yes, the sound mixing, I do agree, was a bit of an issue at times where it's Hans Zimmer, man. Sometimes he has to learn when to, like, someone has to be able to be like, all right, dude, so for this scene, we're going to take the music out or we're just going to drop it down a couple levels because, like, there's a certain moments where I think the music
that Hans
did
Zimmer
actually
might be partially deaf at this point, and so he's mixing it like
dude.
a lot
I'm sure
louder
he's
than it needs to
blasting
be.
music.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, like I said, we can get into debate and sound, but like I
Yeah.
said, there's a great video essay and documentary that talks about it and stuff like that.
Even
But-
if it was intentional, it doesn't make it good.
right, like I said, I don't want to get into it because it'll be a 3-hour discussion and we're limited on time.
Yeah.
But as for Dune, like it broke my heart that I didn't put it in, but mainly because by his own words, that it's not a film. It's like the first act of a film,
Mhm.
and also what's it called? By the way, if he ends up winning Best Director, which they said there's a good chance, he's like number 2 in the Gold Derby rankings and shit like that, to win Best Director for half a film. What a fucking baller beast for half a film.
Yeah.
I was like, all right.
Is it my turn to trigger half the panel yet?
Go.
Yeah,
Yes,
go on.
Go for it.
My most overrated movie of 2021 is Spider-Man: No Way Home. Now, before the spheres come out, I have a paragraph prepared. So here's my paragraph. Spider-Man: No Way Home. I'm not here to argue that this was a bad movie. It's not.
Are you really just gonna read out paragraphs the
Yeah.
entire?
Yeah, I
thing?
put a lot of thought. I was up till 3 a.m.
Right,
putting a lot
but
of
don't make
thought.
it sound like you're just reading it off.
I
you
am
know?
not here to argue that this was a bad movie. It's not. Being blunt, this was easily the best Marvel movie of the year.
Agree.
However, it certainly does not deserve its 8.9 rating on IMDb, and it's certainly not the best movie of the year. I once called this fan service the movie, and I stick with that opinion. It's a good time, and at its core, that's all it needs to be. But I feel that it's nostalgia baited a large portion of viewers into believing it's better than it is.
Just brief thing. Mentioning IMDb is completely irrelevant because IMDb has no verification factor on like who's actually.
Yeah,
seen the
I mean,
movie.
they've.
Yeah.
I think they've already put this movie as like the top 25 films of all time. That's ridiculous.
yeah,
That's completely
Yeah.
ridiculous.
that's ridiculous.
I don't trust that at all. I mean, the fucking Dark Knight was like number 1. Like, I'm sorry, I love the Dark Knight. I think it's a great movie, but it's not the number 1
Have you
greatest
seen?
movie
Have you
of all
seen like
time.
half of the reviews? They're like, it's amazing. That's it.
Yeah, yeah.
Five
It's
out
like,
of five.
look, my argument for No Way Home, I could definitely see why you could say it's overrated. I mean, let's be honest, it's not like going to get any kind of real award shit.
Oh wait, actually, you know what? That's changed.
It could.
Yeah, it has.
It could get
has.
some technical stuff, which I think would be fair because I think a lot of Marvel movies, despite what you think about the stories or the characters, whatever, on a technical level and like the effects and everything, it's usually pretty darn good.
That's because Marvel movies are just 90% effects.
Yeah.
Well, we can talk
I
about
guess
that
that's
another time.
something
But
else.
I will say the reason why I loved No Way Home so much and why I argue and it kind of irks me when people say that it's just fan service and stuff is I feel like we've seen those movies that are just fan services, the movies that are just a rehash of a previous film, and then they just
Ghostbusters Afterlife.
yeah, I think to an extent Ghostbusters Afterlife is a big thing with that, but I think they also try to move it into like some other pieces where they have to like they make the story more part of it, but like fuck, like I don't know how many times they're like, look, the books are stacked like that. Oh look, there's the little thingy.
Oh,
there's
let's not
look,
devolve this
there's like
into
I know we're not gonna talk about Ghostbusters Afterlife here, okay, whatever.
Yes.
But I mean, I think Matrix Resurrections is another big example of that. I
It's
think
on one of my lists.
let's say that's gonna be
okay,
in my.
okay.
yeah.
I think fucking like Force Awakens, same deal. They do a lot
I
of
like
that shit
Force Awakens.
where they restructure the same movie and they make it into that. And it's like I don't think No Way Home was that. And I
No,
think
it
that a
wasn't.
lot of the the fan servicey stuff or the characters they brought
Ronald, my
back from
paragraph
other
says, I'm
franchises.
not saying it's a bad movie.
No, I
I'm
know.
just saying-
No.
No.
I'm not saying that you're saying it's a bad movie. I'm
No,
just
he's not.
saying
Yeah.
specifically what you're saying about it being fan servicey and stuff. Where I say it's like, yeah, it is fan servicey in the sense that obviously bringing back Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield is
But
gonna,
they worked
is
it
gonna,
into the plot.
Yeah,
well.
there's a good narrative.
Yeah, that's what I'm
versus-
saying.
And this
It's
is
like-
coming from me, who fucking hates Marvel movies and everything that they represent. And I even thought that this was like an enjoyable film to watch. I went to go watch it with my sisters. I wouldn't give it an 8.9 out of 10 personally, but I can understand where
think
some people
I
who are
just-
The
into that
actual
kind
only
of stuff
score
are
that
coming
matters.
from.
Rotten
Look,
Tomatoes,
I
and
think
Metacritic. It's
my
like a
biggest
94%.
sentence- my
and this is
most-
really high. That's insane.
No, okay, I wouldn't give it a 94%, but I understand why
Okay.
some people might.
Let me just say this. I think the most important sentence in this is it's a good time, and at its core, that's all it needs to be. That is all it needs to be. But some people have treated this like it's the second coming of fucking Citizen
But
Kane.
look, I'll be honest.
I just- it's
agree with that
fine.
part is overrated.
Thank
you.
Yeah, I do agree with that part's overrated. I'm not even joking. When I watched it afterwards, there was like this little kid. Well, okay, to be fair, it's a kid, so it's excusable. But it was like,
Yeah,
mommy.
Yeah. Like it's a big thing. It's a big deal, and I think they did really well. I think they did a really good job pulling it off. I just, it does bug me a little bit when people say like it was just fan service, and it's like, nah, like there's more to it, and
Yeah,
they
I
integrated
agree
it
with
into the story, into the characters, well enough that
But-
I think that it surpasses the fan service moniker. But
I will
that's just
agree
me.
with Blake that it is slightly overrated. I wouldn't say it's super
yeah,
overrated,
I
but
would say
I
that
believe
too,
it's
yeah.
slightly overrated.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
why I said like I don't think it deserves to be called like one of the greatest films
Yeah.
ever made. No,
No, it's not even one. It's not even the greatest Spider-Man film, and I love this
Yeah.
film, but it's not the greatest Spider-Man film.
Yeah,
too.
I'd put it like third,
Yeah.
probably in terms of Spider-Man movies,
Mhm.
and
That's
that's
fair.
like, and I'll see where it is like in a year from now because opinions do change. Like I
Yes.
really liked Homecoming when it first came out, and then now, sometime removed from it, I still like it. I just don't rate it as high as I did.
Yeah.
So again, I'm washed over with the glow of the nostalgia and everything that I loved about it, and there's a lot of shit that I really did like about it. But we'll give it some time.
right.
But
Mhm.
I'm not coming at it too hard saying that it is overrated because I do agree it is overrated in certain aspects. But it's hard to get into what it means to be overrated, right? But
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, it is for some reason. Not some reason. Understandably, because a lot of people, this is like their only film they watched the entire year.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's like by default, it's like their best film of the year.
yeah.
What's it called? All right, but we'll nip it in the bud because we have an entire hour plus video on Spider-Man. So okay, so all right, for me, what's it called? Is we're all teeing up to Ron's amazing 3-paragraph.
You're really building it up. It's not that
This is
great.
good. What's it called? Was it my most overrated films? And I'm gonna mention this briefly because we will talk about it in a future episode. Don't Look Up. Let's say, while critically it got like 55%, which is not that good, but somehow it fools everybody into thinking it's amazing satire, better than Network, which is fucking insane, better than fucking Stanley Kubrick's Doctor Strangelove, which is fucking insane, and people are. This is a fucking major Oscar contender.
I've been getting like Doctor Strangelove vibes just from what I've heard about it. And
Oh
I'm
my
like,
You,
yeah.
you.
But I mean, not that I would think it's on the same level, but I'm
But
just saying.
Doctor Strangelove's like the pinnacle of war
people,
satire.
Yeah,
people
yeah.
fucking think this is. People are like, this is the fucking best satire of our time. But whatever. I'm gonna just we're gonna talk about it in a future episode, and that's where I'll rant about it. But for my most overrated movie this year, For the Love, I like this film a lot, but I have no idea how it won the TIFF award for People's Choice Award, making it a front runner for Best Picture for the longest time until Power of the Dog took that spot. And it's just been sweeping in nominations, not wins, but sweeping in fucking nominations award circuit. Somehow people are sucking its dick all the fucking way, and it's Belfast.
Oh,
I have
I'm fine
no
with that.
I have no idea how this film. It's a good film. It's like Discount Roma.
It's good, but it's not great. And I've got a very similar opinion on it. Like, it didn't make any of my lists this year because it was a passable film. When I saw it, I was like, okay, this is an okay film. Like nothing really bad about it, but nothing great about it either.
it was great. It was charming, especially like the first 2/3 of the movie. I was pretty on board with it, and then it just kind of lingers a little.
Oh yeah,
too
this
long.
is the longest hour and a half movie I've ever seen in my life. This felt like it was longer than fucking Dune.
We're gonna break up at Christmas. It's like,
I-
when?
No,
Yeah.
no,
I did
we're gonna do this at Christmas, and then they start talking about Easter, and I was like, oh no, wrap this up, Kenneth.
and you know the thing
Branagh.
is, it's black and white, so you could barely tell the change of seasons.
Yeah.
So I'll say this.
I did like how they played with color during some of the scenes.
Oh, what you
but that
mean?
was the
But it's
only
the
time
most-
when it was visually interesting to me.
It's the most obvious
Yes.
like choice of color though. Like, of course, you're watching a play in a movie, and that's the only thing in color.
It's
Because outside of real life, it's colorful. It's like blah 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 blah
Yeah.
blah. It's like okay, but
Yeah,
I think, and I liked it a lot, and I'm bashing on it, but mainly it's just like I do think it's overrated. I like the cinematography. I think his name, what's it called? Harris Zambalakos, who did Thor and Locke and Cinderella. He did a good job. I think he's the best part of the movie, the cinematography, the framing. But in a weird way, by having it not a musical, I'm joking about this because for the longest time he said he's gonna make a personal movie.
Oh yeah, this was
Belfast is
originally going to
musical.
be on our musical episode.
Yeah. Philip was like, "Oh yeah, this is going to be a musical," and I was like, "This doesn't look like a musical."
I thought it was
And
a
then-
musical.
I didn't think it was a
No,
musical either.
I literally beforehand I said to Philip, I was like, "Are you sure that this is a musical? This doesn't seem like a musical to me."
Because
And then
for
you
the
were
longest
like-
time, like he was
yeah.
talking about, I'm gonna make a musical about my childhood, and then the Belfast came out, and then he had the song from Jamie Dornan sing from the Van Morrison, "Look into my eyes."
It does kind of start out musically.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
if anything, it probably would have made more sense because it's from a kid's perspective.
It made a really funny experience watching it where I was just like, all right, so when are they going to start singing?
You know what's funny is
when are they going to start singing?
I went
are
into
they going to start
this.
singing?
I went into this knowing it wasn't a musical because Ron was like, "Don't worry, it's not a musical." But I was like, there was a point in the movie where I was like, "Oh man, if it was a musical, this is where it would happen, and it would be terrible." I think I know you guys are talking about
the
during the
face-off
riot.
scene.
Yeah.
where,
Yeah.
like,
yeah. I was like, "That's where it would happen."
And that's where I was like, oh, so this is it, right? This is finally where they're gonna break out into song and like they're gonna West Side Story this, but no, they did not.
Yeah, but it's an interesting personal take on semi autobiographical film about Kenneth Branagh's life in Belfast, and
Apparently, he was omnipotent as a child.
I know,
He
he
was,
knew
he was there
everything.
for every parent's conversation.
And the thing
I was, sorry, I was just cracking up, and every time their parents were having this like really like serious conversation about like money and like their marriage is falling apart and
just
all
there
this
in the
shit.
background.
Yeah, and the kid's like there in the background, or he's like peeking over and listening, and it's like, damn kid, give him a minute. Like,
Well, we don't know. Maybe they had those conversations like every single night.
yeah, that's true.
I'll say this, and I think like maybe the film, like, I mean, because there are obviously Troubles is a very interesting point in Ireland and especially Belfast, and how it divided a group of people, and whether religion or beliefs and all that shit. It's a very interesting point in history for that
Very
region.
long, complicated
And
issue.
if anything, and there was like some interesting plot points with Jamie Dornan of 50 Shades Grey, and one of his best performances, by the way.
It's very charming.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's-
not just him, but like pretty much the entire
Every
cast.
cast, yeah.
The little kid's a little too chipper. It's like he's like,
That's-
"Oh,
that was Kenneth Branagh as a kid,
Jiminy
probably.
Jiminy Crickets," and there's like an explosion in the background.
I'll be honest, that's probably how Kenneth Branagh was as a kid.
I do want to
Yeah.
say this. There was one shot that was pretty great, and it might be one of the best shots of the year. It's the shot where the grandma's in the window, the uncle is like in the bathroom, and the kid is like kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
It's a great
Yeah.
shot.
No, there was a lot of
Yeah,
great
it's a
shots
beautiful- it's-
like that were just
It's
framed very well.
visually beautiful, but I gotta say, it bored the fuck out of me. But it was a good movie.
It wasn't
Huh.
that boring to me. Main thing is just that I think like it was emotionally teeing up, and a lot of the plot
Oh,
lines.
gee,
like,
Willikers, Mister, I stole a candy bar. It's like someone getting shot in the
yeah,
background.
it's just like some of the like emotional plot lines and payoffs with the Jamie Dornan character, the dad, Pa, as they say in the film, because it's from the kids' perspective, so they don't have names. So Pa, and like not even joking in the
I-
credits, right? So let me finish this.
Funny.
But because they're setting up the whole thing of like him in his job in London, and also like him potentially being in with the Troubles, and like the dividing loyalties between that stuff, and they want him in the
Mhm.
Troubles. Like I said, because it's from the kids' perspective, there's not much actually given to that storyline, and that is potentially one of the more interesting parts of that story. And probably if there was
Yeah.
given more time to that, and it wasn't from the kids' perspective, you could have had a bigger payoff and more interesting aspect to it. But it's stuff like that. I think like the approach to the story, how they handled it, is what I felt like held it back from me loving the film. In a weird way, it being 30 minutes longer and giving it more detail and nuance to the Troubles thing might have given that little like oomph to it.
Longer.
Yeah, but then as a
Longer?
result, it's just like it's just kind of a amiable film that somehow got everybody to suck its dick.
Sorry, did Artemis Fowl come out? No, that didn't come out this year, did it?
No.
Artemis,
Oh no, that's 2020.
Yeah, I much
Sorry,
prefer. I much prefer his last movie, Artemis Fowl. It's not a bad movie. I guess also I'm just kind of tired of the horrible historical event from the perspective of a child. I don't know. a lot of movies in that genre.
How many other just name some so that you have the idea of context.
We talked about Lore pretty recently, which I actually like more.
What Life is Beautiful.
Life is Beautiful is probably the biggest one.
Came out a long time ago.
Jojo Rabbit.
Jojo Rabbit.
That's good.
It's a common trope. I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm just like, little kid.
Yeah, I was actually looking for something more like Jojo Rabbit in this, and that's what I was hoping for going into this movie.
Yeah, right.
And because I really enjoyed Jojo Rabbit, and yeah,
me too. I also very much liked Jojo Rabbit.
Oh, Gene Willikers, Mister.
Although I didn't love it though. I felt like there was a lot holding that one back as well.
Same.
Anyways, should we move on to
All right.
Ron's extraordinary
let's go to
speech he's
Ron's.
prepared?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be the great.
Should we give a drum roll first?
No. Okay, so for my pick for the most overrated movie this year,
wrong.
Spencer.
Oh my God,
Spencer. All I've been hearing from Miles is, Spencer Chan is the best movie. Oh.
You've been hanging out with
Second
our-
best.
So I watched it, and my God, is it vanilla?
Did you really watch it, or was it?
No,
on your
I was
phone?
watching it. Rosie called me out. I'll be fair. Rosie's right here. I was watching it, and for like the first 10 minutes or so, I was on my phone. I was doing stuff, and she was like, "Hey, you might want to pay attention." I was like, "Okay, all right, fine." Right?
But see, and that's why Rosie, come here. Talk about
She's
Ron's
coming.
habit.
I was watching Spencer. Ron was in the room.
Oh my
Oh.
God!
Oh, you got called
You
out.
just got
10
called out.
minutes at least.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
Oh.
immediately
So-
opinion is
so-
slightly discounted.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. So for the first 10 minutes. But let me start with what I liked about this movie. Kristen Stewart. I think her acting was really good. She's clearly putting in a lot of effort into this role and is getting a good and at times great performance as Princess Di. She's unstable and in distress throughout this film, and she's under a tremendous amount of pressure and scrutiny. So from what I understand, she spent months perfecting her accent, and what I could tell as a person who isn't at all familiar with Princess Di's voice, she seemed to nail it. I don't know. There is one scene that I loved in this movie, and that's the scene between Diana and her sons. It was a beautiful and entirely ad-libbed scene, which is really very impressive. The chemistry between her and the children is adorable, and you truly get the sense that she's only really happy when she's with her kids and her boys. And it's all shot from inside the table, looking out, getting a sense of intimacy, and the candlelight adds to the literal and figurative warmth to the scene. The cinematography is good most of the time, and the color, it gives it in tangent with the art direction, it gives a real melancholy and self dullness and staleness to the environment that permeates Princess Di, and then she's trapped in it.
Just say Diana.
Princess Diana, whatever. People call her Princess Di.
Yeah,
Okay.
a lot of
you're
people.
talking about-
Yeah, a lot
That's
of people
a lot
call
of
her Princess
people.
Di.
Yeah.
Is it Americans or is it actually
Well,
actually?
I'm
yeah.
fucking American,
Yeah,
dude.
I'm saying,
I mean,
Besides that,
I don't know many Europeans, but a lot of Americans do call her that.
besides that,
Die.
it was a snooze fest, man. I was seeing her slowly deteriorate and eventually breaking. I found myself really not giving a fuck. The dialogue was boring, it was unengaging, and the film is interesting in the approach that it's Diana, it's just kind of her, it takes place over the course of a weekend. It's Christmas weekend, and it gives it, they say openly say in the beginning it's more of a fantasy, and to give it the what's it called, the feel of this isn't literally what happened, but it's more of just an impression of Princess Di in this
It's a
little
fairy tale
time
of something that could have happened.
Yeah, and I wish it really leaned into that further. I liked her eating pearls and freaking the fuck out.
Yes.
For the most part, that was great. I was but most of the time she's just kind of wincing and on the verge of tears throughout the movie.
But what about the scenes where she's interacting with Anne Boleyn's ghost and stuff like that?
it's fine.
I don't know.
It's fine.
Honestly,
I thought
And
let's let
also,
you let us finish this paragraph.
I know this film will be nominated for best wardrobe when it comes to these kind of films. I think that's bullshit. It's cheating. Look at House of Gucci. Okay, they literally can just pull from her back catalog of war shit that she just actually wore in real life. So yeah, it's gonna look good. She was a fucking princess. So yeah, it's gonna look good. So I'm just saying, I'm just calling that ahead of time. I know that they're gonna get nominated for shit, and it's meh. Whatever. I give way more props to a thing like Dune, which actually is way more imaginative and impressive to me that they come up with these concepts and have to bring them to life. Specifically the people of Arakeen and stuff, but whatever. Besides that. Anyway, Spencer was good. It's not amazing, but I think it's just overrated.
I'll give it this before Miles goes on his 3-paragraph rant. That's just 3-paragraph thing. I completely agree with you on the wardrobe stuff of like not saying it's
I'll
great.
agree as well.
Yeah, like
because I can concede that
it's cheating.
Yeah,
when it gets nominated. But regardless, it's still it's effective and it's done well. And you have to have good wardrobe in a film like this. But
Yeah.
and I give more props to stuff like Dune, where from the ground up. I mean, there's references obviously from the text.
They're pretty vague. But
And not gonna lie, also you being out of the room for 10 minutes as Rosie completely exposed you.
the first 10 minutes of the film are very
I was
good
not,
at grounding the character.
I was on my phone.
No, it's
But
like
I
a
understand.
very important 10 minutes.
I don't understand. I saw her. She
okay.
she goes to a diner, and then she is hanging
It's a
out on the
fish and
side of
chips
the
place.
side on the road. It's fish and chips. That's a British
Okay.
diner. Let's be honest.
All right.
And then she sees a scarecrow. She's like, hold on, I have to go. I have to go. I'll be right back. It's just a bit of fun. And then she runs off. And then her relationship with the chef, that's fine.
Just
That's
out
cool.
of curiosity, how much do you know about Princess Diana, and particularly at this point in her life?
I know the most basic shit. Okay.
Do you know who the mistress was?
The mistress, wasn't it her was it her coach or bodyguard or something
No, I'm
the
talking about-
doctor?
No, I'm talking about Prince Charles's mistress who becomes his wife.
Oh
original-
yeah. She's wasn't she there? Wasn't she at
No,
the
she
dinner or
wasn't.
something?
No.
No. Oh, I thought she was the other chick that was really staring at her. At one point.
Now it even makes more context. but I'll
Whatever.
say,
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have to take a history lesson before I watch this movie.
You
I'll say
did see her at the church scene, though.
yeah, but that's the most.
That's what she's the one that's like mad dogging her, right?
A little
You know
bit,
her
yeah.
name, right? Carmela.
I don't know her name, but I'm just
Okay,
saying.
I'll say this.
that scene.
I completely understand. Okay, honestly, this reaction from Ron is honestly I kind of expected it. Even the 10 minutes on the phone, dude, when we're watching Titan, I'm gonna call you out, bro. You were every once in a while, and I'm giving you eyeballs the entire time.
I like Titan much more than this.
No, I know. Yeah, what's it called? But, let's say when you're determined not to like something or determined you're not gonna be interested.
I was not determined to not like this film.
kind of. Yeah, well, let's be honest. Your interest was kind of I have no interest. You even said your own word. I have no interest in this film.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But I gave it a shot. I went in and I watched it.
What?
And I said a lot of shit that I liked
being
about it, by
outside
the
of
way.
10 minutes. That's not giving it a
Okay,
shot.
all right.
Okay. But like I said, I kind of expected. And two, the fact that you don't really know much about Princess Diana and stuff like that, which is fine. It's understandable. This
Yeah.
film is supposed to stand on its own. And understandable you had this reaction. And you haven't seen Jackie or no, right?
No.
The director's other work?
No.
Okay. And that's once again, I think if you've seen those stuff, I mean, even if you haven't, I think it still works, but it kind of sets you up for the type of movie you're getting and having expectation. But now you've already seen this. I'm kind of curious, maybe in 1 to 2 years from now, because we're gonna cover The Crown eventually. After seeing The Crown, trust me, The Crown is not like this. It's actually a lot more engaging and fast paced. And
I've seen little bits of The Crown because Rosie watches it and I'll pop in every once in a while.
Yeah, it's really good. You'll like it for just production standpoint and stuff like that. It's really well made.
Cool.
And it's fun, and it's actually
Ron
really
does
fun.
not look happy about this.
Yeah.
When
Anything
Philip's
about-
we're covering The Crown. Ron was
anything
like,
about the boils or rich white people, he's like, fuck me. Oh my god.
Outside of Mad Men, I usually just don't
If you like
care.
Mad Men, you're gonna love The Crown. But I'll say this: after you do The Crown, and after maybe seeing the other guys' work like Jackie Kennedy, and
Okay.
No, I'm kind of curious if your opinion will change on this film.
Yeah, I think
feel like it might.
It may because again, there was a lot of expectations put on this film before I watched it, where the overrated aspect comes in, where I feel like people were like, "Oh, it's really good. Oh, it's gonna be awesome," and then I watched it, I'm just like, it's all right.
Yeah,
I don't
so
know.
I feel
I don't love it, but it's cool.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff to admire, but yeah,
'cause
overall, that's what I would define as underrated. But
overrated.
Overrated. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I feel like after maybe seeing The Crown or just more after and seeing the other guys, the director's other work and stuff like that, you have that context, and now then it might, who knows, it might not change, but let's say you see it under different lens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Alright.
fine. I'm open to that.
I'm gonna reserve-
I can only speak for where I am right now.
Yeah.
I'll reserve my other thoughts for Spencer for later.
No, we're
Uh,
talking about it now. So
yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Now's the time.
It's on
Now's the
one of
time.
my lists.
Oh yeah, but that's
Oh.
why we talk.
Yeah,
Remember the
just
rules?
talk
Yeah,
about
let's
it
talk
now.
about now.
But
I
What
I'm
are
in
you
the,
going to put it on? Sorry, really quick.
it's
It's
I
not
don't
a-
want to spoil. I don't want to
it's-
spoil
yeah.
which list
Okay.
it'll be on.
Yeah.
I like it a lot more than Ron, but I don't like it as much as Miles and Philip. I think it was pretty good. I thought it was a really engaging movie, and I think the thing that really made it was I thought Kristen Stewart just gave a really good performance. Like
Yeah.
just
Yes.
a person that
Favorite
was
to
like,
win.
That,
she's the best part.
that's
Yeah, she
honestly
should.
her best performance.
yeah,
of her
like
career
she
by
really
far.
sold just this person that's like on the verge of like a collapse
I'm
the
sorry.
entire movie.
Have you seen New Moon?
I will murder you with a shovel of words, Ron.
Anyways, I am talking.
What is going on?
I'm talking.
Uh,
I really thought Kristen Stewart just sold the entire performance. I thought like she just really sells being on the verge the entire movie. I also agree with you that scene with her and her kids was fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
Or just any of the scenes with her and like the worker
Oh.
that like
Oh.
confesses her love to her. Like all of those scenes are just fucking great. I thought it looked pretty good for the most part. I did a lot of, it wasn't like extravagant, but I thought it generally just looked really good. I'd say overall, I liked it a lot. It's not my favorite movie of the year by far or anything, but I just thought it was pretty solid. I thought, and this is coming from a guy who like you, I have no fucking interest in like rich white people drama. It's like, oh, I'm rich and white. Like, who cares? You're rich and white. But it like, I really like, I was able to get engaged. I was like, oh, okay, this is pretty solid.
It makes you sympathize with her because I understand that aspect of like her life story and what eventually led to her tragic death. It's horrific, honestly.
And I loved her getting KFC at the end. That was a great little,
yeah, that was cool.
that was a great little scene.
Miles.
Okay. Yeah, I love this movie. It's one of my favorite movies of the year. It's disappointing that Ron really didn't like it that much, and it's also
Wait,
disappointing.
are you surprised though?
Honestly,
that-
I'm not. I mean,
Yeah.
I've come to learn that Ron just has no taste, and that's
Ah.
Oh my
But,
God.
Oh,
yeah. I do want to
Ooh.
mention my younger sister has a theory that my mom is actually Princess Diana, because when she was younger, she looked exactly like Princess Diana in like all the pictures and stuff like that.
But
And that-
reincarnated.
No, that she escaped to the United States. My mom's roughly the same age that she would be now.
I did catch her eating pearls
Yeah.
once.
Yeah, and escaped to the United States and didn't actually die. That's my sister's kind of like crazy theory that she has.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I noticed you have no friends named Charles, so that
No.
might be a reason why. So that's
Yeah.
good. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to have friends named Charles. Just
Oh,
a family rule.
Can
I
I have
don't know
one
why.
last word on
You
Spencer?
just look like Harry.
Wait, but let me
Okay,
just
okay.
kind of get into it more. So I don't really understand why you think I understand the costume design thing, but in terms of kind of having those psychological elements, I felt like they were well integrated into the film and they worked. They helped to build emotional tension incredibly effectively. It was nice seeing her relationship that she had with the people who were working for them. They call her the People's Princess for a reason. They kind of look at all these aspects of who she is as a person and then develop a story around that. And I think that it was done incredibly effectively. And I was able to feel that kind of emotional connection throughout the entire film. So I don't see it as being overrated. I think that if anything, it could be underrated, even if it had 100%.
All right, Blake, you seem like you want to chime in. What are you about to say?
I just want to say one last thing too. Is also I found it really incredible that it was able to be relatable. Like we can relate to royalty. Like I thought that was just really effective. Like who doesn't feel like Princess Diana sometimes? Just you're just stuck in this life doing things you think other people want from you. She kind of feels like a prisoner a lot of the time. She's always being watched. It's like, oh, you have to wear this dress. You have to go at this time. I just thought they did a really good job of making a larger than life figure super relatable.
Yeah, where she's a free spirit, but she is completely trapped by obligations.
She feels like a prisoner the whole movie.
Yeah.
I hope they didn't tame that horse.
Okay, I'll say this for Spencer. Not to make it over long. Maybe we'll cover it eventually. But and when we
Let's
talk about when we talk about the director's other work, for me, like I said, huge into the royal family. Watch The Crown, watch the documentaries, and I came at with like almost like too much context. And also I've seen like a lot of this guy's work. I'm really excited. I really like this guy's filmography and his shooting style. And I think this is like his second film of tormented modern princesses or whatever. Like, cause he did Jackie, right? That was
Jackie.
the other one.
Yeah.
And have you guys seen Jackie by any chance?
I have not.
No, you
I-
already asked me that, Philip.
I know. I just want to reiterate the fact that you haven't seen it. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I forgot. It's that film was shot in the same aspect ratio. By the way, the aspect ratio, interesting choice and stuff. Like looks like something from the era, and shot on film stock and what etc. These specific creative choices he does to emulate that time period, and he did that with No too, because that was also about a certain part in cultural history and blah blah blah. So this is exactly. I was expecting something like this, and I pretty much got exactly what I thought I'll get based on this guy's work and based on what we think. And if anything, I was a little worried because I think the Crown season 4 did one of the Rosie. Have you seen Crown season 4 by any chance? I'm gonna take that as a no. Is it Diana season? Oh, okay. Never mind. Then I was gonna ask you your opinions on that, but it's I think Princess Diana was portrayed so effortlessly in that series that I was worried. And Kristen Stewart is not how I imagine Princess Diana looking, but this movie kind of proved me wrong in that aspect, and I'm glad. So not to beat a dead horse, it's great. We watch it, come with your own opinions. So now let's go into 2021's most overlooked movies, and this is in the sense that it might have got critical acclaim or something like that, but it was ignored on the award circuit and by the audience. Let's start off with Blake this time.
Well, I put Lamb.
That no, it's not.
Lamb got a lot of buzz. It just flopped because of good reasons.
No, it didn't even flop. It did relatively well. The budget's like super fucking low.
Yeah, but
it made profit.
I mean, like it
But
just.
I mean, like relatively.
Yeah,
And
compared
it's like
to other films.
and it's doing really well on the award circuit.
Lamb? Really?
Yeah.
I don't understand that. Honestly, I would say that's overrated then.
Because I was actually gonna put this because I actually switched it up a little bit last minute, so maybe I accidentally fucked this up.
Just because
But I
our
did
friends
put-
don't talk about it doesn't mean that it's overlooked.
But I
Yeah.
did put this. While I can't strongly recommend it, it's worth a watch. I didn't love Lamb, but I think like everyone should watch it at least. I think it's definitely worth a watch.
A lot of people did.
It
It's one of the highest
disappointed me.
grossing indies. What was the highest grossing foreign films this year?
I was really looking forward to Lamb, but then it just disappointed me, honestly.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a disappointment, not gonna lie.
It really let me
Same.
down. Like I was looking at it, I was like, oh, this is a weird, cool concept set in Scandinavia. I was getting some Midsummer vibes,
I think.
and then just didn't work.
Yeah, I think a lot of these ones, although I'm not technically sure it's Scandinavia because I think it's Greenland. I'm not sure if that counts. But I think that like it comes down to the marketing and stuff. And things like Lamb, where it is marketed, is like more of like a straight horror.
And
or
I
like a
and I think
weird
we all
psychological
we all
horror.
knew it wasn't gonna be horror, right?
I didn't know it was gonna be that much far removed from horror.
I didn't expect horror at all.
But
just
I don't
'cause
know why it
how
was
they market
marketed
weird-
as horror. I
But
don't get that.
They always no, but they're gonna.
I was-
Whenever it's a movie about a couple that has a weird lamb baby, they're gonna market it as horror. That's
It's
just
I was-
an
I was
Icelandic
figuring-
film. Icelandic film.
Yeah. So I was figuring it would be more like what's it called? The Witch, where it was like real creepy elements. Like it's definitely a horror film. It's just as like slow paced and like a real kind of slow stretched out burn, but with like that underlying horror elements throughout the film. That's what I was
See,
expecting
I would've
because of what
preferred
the
that.
trailer
Yeah.
showed me. So I was like, okay, cool. And I go into it and it's not that. And I was disappointed. I still enjoyed the film. I still enjoyed a lot of it. And I still think people should watch it because I think it's a very well crafted in family drama where there happens to be a lamb-headed baby for some reason. But yeah, I just I don't know.
And that's another one that you can listen to one of our podcasts about, I believe.
no, we never.
No, we never.
No, we
covered
never-
it.
we never
We
did.
never covered lamb. This is
Yeah.
us talking lamb right
I'll
now.
say this for Lamb. Yeah, just keep it short. It's I think it's for a first-time filmmaker. He took on too much, and for such an insanely low budget. And I know he worked on VFX, so he did a lot with what he could. But I think a lot of the story decisions he made was probably because of budgetary reason. Like, look, if you're gonna make
Honestly,
like
I feel that a lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, if you're gonna make like a family allegory film with like how what's called uncertain is and blah 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 with your with a half lamb half human baby, you should probably actually make it feel like a half lamb half human baby instead of just a human baby that has a lamb head. Right?
And
Like there's some
There was that moment where he like the guy's brother like starts trying to feed her like straw.
and that's
or
the only
something.
time.
Yeah, I was like, oh, it's good, it's gonna do it, and then like it just that was
Well,
pretty much it.
That was-
and I think that there's also good reasons to hide things off screen. If you are doing like a horror film or a light horror film, you might call it. But in this case, it really felt like every time they were hiding things off screen, it was really because they couldn't, afford to put the big monster in the
Yeah.
screen or,
Possibly,
yeah.
to
And
do the things that they should have been doing.
Yeah, it's like if anything, there's a better version of this type of narrative, and it's called Sweet Tooth on Netflix. And
Okay.
that's like actually about human fucking animal hybrids, and they actually explored like what would it be like to have human animal hybrids in
I
real
saw
life.
parts of Sweet Tooth. I don't really like it.
Yeah, I would watch the entire thing. It's not my favorite. I think it loses some of the grit from the original comic series. But in terms of that concept being explored, it was done much better there. And that's pretty much it. Though I wouldn't have put it in Overlooked because it actually did pretty well for the film, and it did better. Well, it did better than Titan when it comes to the award circuit. Let's just say that. Yeah. All right. So, what about you, Miles? What is your most overlooked film?
I'm gonna go with the Sparks Brothers. Has anybody else here seen that movie?
9.
It's an Edgar Wright directed documentary.
You haven't?
I've
No?
not, no.
Okay. I just thought that it was a really well done documentary. And it didn't get as much notice as I would have hoped, which is funny because it's literally about a band who didn't get as much notice as they deserved.
I thought it was gonna be about Bubba Sparks.
A lot of his music
Yeah.
appears in Edgar Wright films and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think the tagline for it was like your band's favorite band.
Yeah.
Yeah, where
Oh,
it's
okay.
like they're known kind of amongst like the musically inclined people, but like most normal people just don't really know who they are.
Yeah.
They kind of developed a lot of the sounds that you hear throughout like the
Yes.
70s, 80s, 60s and stuff like that, and they kind of were on the forefront of what music was becoming. So they were always kind of a little bit ahead of the game, maybe a couple years too far ahead of the game. And it was interesting looking at all the perspectives of the different people that they had on talking about them.
Yeah.
And I was sad to see that it didn't really get noticed. I saw it originally in theaters, and then I just rewatched it again today, and it held up.
Yeah. I wonder
Yeah.
if we'll get
I'm not a
nominated for best
monster. I'm
documentary.
just ahead of the curve.
But it's what's it called? I'm hoping it's nominated for best documentary. It's not. The chances aren't looking high.
Yeah.
Like I said, and it feels like an Edgar Wright documentary in a good way. Like it's
Mhm.
very embellished and with its visual flourishes and also a deep passion for the project. Have you seen Annette by chance?
Wait, so that's a documentary?
No, I have
That's
not.
documentary.
Yeah,
I
it's
I
a
didn't know we could
documentary.
pick documentaries. There's a couple I would have maybe.
Yeah, he
picked.
surprised me too when he. when he said it.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, that's
I
fine.
enjoyed it as a movie,
No,
and
no, that's-
literally
It
I
felt
saw
more like a
zero
movie.
buzz on it. Yeah.
It felt more like a movie because Edgar Wright,
Yeah.
directed it and stuff. But have you seen Annette? I'm surprised you haven't seen that film
No, I
right?
have not.
because the music is by the Sparks Brothers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's the Adam Driver. I know because your favorite actor of all time, Adam Driver, Marion Cotillard film. Very fucking weird. And directed by the guy who directed Holy Motors, Leo Sarax.
Gotcha.
I was about to put it somewhere, but I just didn't. Ultimately, I needed to watch it again. What about you, Ryan? What's your most overlooked film?
Last Duel. Watch it, motherfuckers, you cowards. Go watch this movie. The fault for this film failing comes down to you avocado toast eating NFT buying Elon Musk simping millennials. No. But really, it's like the marketing, or really lack thereof, because I knew a lot of people who had never even heard of this movie, and I was like, "Hey, I saw Last Duel. Have you seen it or anything?" And they're like, "What? I don't know what the fuck that is."
And you work
It's-
in the film industry.
Yeah, and it's like most people hadn't even heard of it, or they just thought it was about two dudes that are just fighting to the death, and they're just like, I don't like Ben Affleck, or I don't like Matt Damon, and it's like, dude, it's so much more.
That's why
Yeah.
I didn't watch it.
And that's fair, because like how the fuck would you have known? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
how would I
so-
know that it was going to be
Yeah, I don't
good? I
think I
mean,
ever
it's
even
Ben
saw a
Affleck
trailer.
versus Matt
Yeah, we
Damon.
did.
I mean,
We watched
No,
the trailer.
yeah,
I mentioned
I've
so many
seen the
times we watched
trailer.
It's one of those moments where Philip pins our eyes
Yeah.
open, like, and makes us watch
well,
the trailer.
no, I saw that trailer several times in the theaters, and I was like, okay, I'm not looking forward to this one.
I would have put it onto my most underrated movie because I really liked it, but I had to put it here because I think no one really, no one fucking watched it, and I really liked it, and I don't know, go watch it, people.
Yeah,
Go-
and
go
that
do
is
it.
definition of overlooked because it
Yeah.
failed spectacularly.
Yeah, it should not have tanked. It should have done pretty well. I'm not saying it should have blown the box office, but this just did not get nearly as much love as I think it should have.
Yeah, and also it's not. I don't even think it's also the marketing fault. It's also just like, look, it appeals to over 35 crowd, right?
Yeah.
That demographic.
Yeah.
But they're not going to the theaters.
And I was joking about the millennials thing. That's a direct reference to Ridley Scott, who was like, the only reason this movie didn't work is because you damn millennials. And it's
Yeah.
like, no, dude.
We're not even the young ones
I'll say
anymore.
this.
I know,
I'll say
dude.
this. There is some truth, not because of the generation. There's some truth in the sense that like the millennial crowd, like literally that 1824 or whatever, or under, or even 35 under, they were the ones that watched it the least. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's, and the
Well.
movies they're watching are Spider-Man, Eternals, Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters Afterlife, by the way, $120 million is the box office. Fucking insane.
Too much.
It's so like I get it where he's saying, and then like House of Gucci for some reason that appeals to millennials, maybe because of Lady Gaga.
Boo.
Yeah, maybe Lady Gaga should have been in this fucking movie. And then actually done well.
Yeah, House of Gucci almost wound up on my most overrated films of the year.
And it's crazy. It's like, and then Jodie Comer, who's fantastic in the film. She plays a female perspective.
Yes, Marguerite.
And she's in one of the highest grossing films this year, and the biggest surprise. And
Which one?
The Free Guy. She was the main girl there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which I try to get you guys to watch. We're like, I have no interest.
That movie was so overlooked by us.
What's it called? And
Pixels too.
It's one of the high, and it's crazy. You guys are like, we want more original films. It's an original film based on it's not based on an existing IP.
I've never said I want more original films.
Yeah, you have. What do you
I'm
mean?
just kidding.
What's it called? But and it's
Free Guy's one of those movies I'm always intending to watch that. Like I've been intending to watch that movie.
But you
since
watch
the
Red
day it
Notice
came out.
instead.
Yeah,
That's just fucking crazy.
for some reason that's just how it happens. I've got like some movies
Right.
where it's like I really want to watch the movie, but I just never get around to it. Not because I'm too busy watching everything else. I just never am in the mood to actually watch it, but I want to watch it.
I watched the trailer for Free Guy and I was like, no thanks.
I'll say it's nothing
Yeah,
like
same.
It's a lot. It's a lot better than the trailer. It's a trailer, right?
yeah.
It made to appeal to the lowest
It
common
looks like
denominator.
pixels.
No, it's a
it
lot
looks
better.
like fucking pixels to me.
It does not look as bad as Pixels, but
But
no.
you get what I'm saying, right?
It's directed by Sean. I already knew it was gonna be better because it's directed by Sean Levy, who did a lot of the Stranger Things episodes. He's like the third head.
I know,
in
and
the show.
he brought my boy Joe Keery on.
Yeah, I was like surprised. I was like, I thought you would watch it just for Joe Keery.
And Joe Keery and Free Guy?
Yeah, he's
All right,
one of the
we're
main
watching it.
characters. And also, like, the critical reviews are high, and I was like, you guys should check it out. And I watched it, and I liked it a lot. And I was about to put it in my movies to recommend, but I feel like, honestly, you guys already probably watched it.
And it did pretty well, didn't it?
Yeah, 300 million
like,
plus.
Yeah, don't recommend it. then.
Yeah.
It's
But yeah,
fine.
Jodie Comer was
It's
in
doing fine.
one of the biggest box office surprises, success, and she's also one of the box office surprise failures. So she was on both ends of the spectrum this year.
Sad.
She'll be fine though. She has Killing Eve season 4 coming out.
Yeah, I'm sure
Yeah.
she is.
What's it called? All right. So for my most overlooked film of the year, one of them was going to be The Last Duel, but then my choice for this year is The Nighthouse, which we should have covered one day. We were supposed to cover one day, but instead we did Reminiscence. Fucking Reminiscence.
Is that the horror movie about grief?
Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to see that.
You mean Babadook? No, that's
Miles.
depression.
It's
Never mind.
and Rebecca Hall is having an absolute killer year this year. And we'll talk about her directorial debut passing in a future episode.
Say
so I
Rebecca
won't get-
Hall?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh,
What's the trailer
go for
together?
her.
Yeah.
I don't know memory of that, man. I'm
Because your
sorry.
memories? I'm just kidding. I'm joking. I don't want to bust.
You're not joking. I have terrible memory.
What's it called? Nighthouse. Brief premise is Rebecca Hall's character's husband tragically passes away. I won't say how, but but we find out that he was he's a house builder and they have a house in by the lake. But we find out that he made an identical house, like literally across the lake. What's in the house? What's happening there? Why he made it? What the whole fucking point of the film is? I won't say because it will spoil the film. I knew that's all I knew watching the film.
I have been wanting to watch this movie since I first heard about it.
It's
and I
out.
still
You can
haven't.
watch it.
I know.
You could watch it.
I know.
There's nothing stopping you. Yeah, go watch it today.
I probably won't do that, to say the truth. But
Yeah, we know you, Blake. You won't. Let's go. So yeah, it's a great movie. It's I think one of the best horror films this year. I think it might be my favorite horror film this year. To be fair, this is not like the most amazing year for horror.
Yeah.
And Rebecca Hall, absolutely killing it with her directorial debut, Passing, which is this black and white movie about black people literally trying to pass off as white, depending on their skin color. And also with this film, one of the best performances this year. Won't get nominated for shit, but it's fine. And it did okay. So now let's get into 2021 movies to recommend.
Let me pause really quick. I
Sure.
really got to pee.
Tick, tick, boom.
Is that your movie to recommend?
Yes, it is.
So that didn't make your other list? Oh,
No.
surprising. I
No.
thought that was actually going to make it. Okay.
No, I really did like it. Or maybe there's a chance it made it onto my other list. I don't think so. Did it? No, it did not. But no, yeah, I really like Tick Tick Boom. I was that's one that I was surprised. That's one that the movie that I was going into not really wanting to watch, not having very high expectations for, and I watched it and I enjoyed it and it blew me away and I really liked it. So I'd recommend it, and it's ever watch because it's on Netflix and everyone is fucking Netflix.
That movie really pulled a dark horse on me because I never saw Rent. I'm not really a big musical buff guy, but
Same.
I just think that it was done so well, and Andrew Garfield's performance was amazing in it, and I just great film.
he should
You
definitely
should
get-
definitely watch it. Yeah.
he should. Sorry, hiccups. He should definitely get nominated for something.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
When-
the favorites, the top 3, right? But honestly, the 5 is pretty cemented. The top 3 running is number 1 is King Richard, Will Smith. Number 2 is Benedict Cumberbatch for Power of the Dog, which I'll get to that in a bit when we get to our top 10 list. And number 3,
Dog's favorite film.
yeah, and he probably sleeps.
What
through the
about
entire
Channing
film.
Tatum's dog?
That's next year.
I'm looking forward
let's
to
go.
that movie actually.
Yeah, and number 3 is Andrew Garfield. And right now it's a toss up between the 3. So we'll see. And number 4 is Peter Dinklage for Cyrano, and number 5 is Denzel Washington for Tragedy of Macbeth.
Cyrano or whatever. I'm sorry, but just the trailer again. It's an uphill battle because again, I'm not super in musicals. I'm not like against musicals at all. Like I'll enjoy musicals, but it just looks. I don't know.
The reviews are good. It's like 80 something or whatever, and it's getting a lot of buzz. Whatever.
The part where she's like,
It's directed by,
he's like, "You're as beautiful as a flower," and she's like, "I am not a flower," and she runs off. I was like, "Ugh."
It's directed by Joe Wright, who did Atonement and Pride and Prejudice and stuff.
I know. The Pride and Prejudice is okay. I don't know. I didn't like it.
That's fine. I mean, that's not your type of film,
Yeah,
right?
It's really
As we
not.
established,
It's-
rich white movies
Yeah,
about rich white
it
people.
really isn't.
Point being, Andrew
Is that based
Garfield
off that
should
book,
win.
Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies?
Yes, it's based
Yeah.
off of
Okay.
that one.
Yeah.
That's what they
Point
got.
being,
Yeah.
I think Andrew Garfield should win.
Yeah.
I also love this fucking movie.
You haven't seen Power of the Dog yet, right?
I watched the first half and then something came up and I have not finished the second
Okay,
half.
that's fine. That's
I'm
fine.
gonna rewatch it all as one, just to let you know.
Yeah.
and here's a
Well, no,
little-
we're gonna watch it again together as a group
Yeah.
before we record it and stuff. Yeah.
Oh god.
But anyways, I really, really, really like Tick Tick Boom. It was one of the year's biggest surprises for me. I'm not a musical guy. I don't know anything about Broadway. I've never seen Rent. I don't even know who the fuck that guy was prior to the recording. But you know what? I sat in my bedroom. I put a blanket on. I pulled up the flicks of the net, and I put it on. And goddamn, I was enthralled. That
So-
was
so-
This is coming from
Yeah.
the guy who always talks about how his production of West Side Story was so good.
Yeah.
By the way,
I'll-
who,
I'll-
who
I'll
isn't a
say-
musical
All right,
guy.
let's keep Tick Tick Boom short because we have talked about it extensively. I agree with you guys.
Yes.
Okay, let's move on. What about Blake?
For more on
what's
Tick,
called
Tick
your
Boom?
movies to recommend?
This one's kind of cheating because everyone's seen it, but Suicide Squad by James Gunn.
Yeah.
And
No, that's not cheating. Just movies
Yeah.
to recommend is
it's good. It's probably the best superhero movie of the year.
And not many people saw it, right? Did
Yeah.
it, like do like
It didn't do too
okay.
good.
yeah,
right?
it didn't do that.
Which is really
Yeah.
bad because studios might be like, oh, let's play it safe.
And it's
Um,
not even that. Not really. I mean, kind of, but mainly because everyone understands that
it was-
pandemic
Yeah.
and HBO Max same day.
Also, I knew a lot of people who again thought they were like, wait, isn't that? I thought that was like the first one, or they thought it was the same one again or something. And it's like, no, please, this is the much better version.
They were probably confused by that one guy, Zack Snyder, who just re-released a film and added a couple extra minutes to it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
All right, what about you?
Okay, whatever. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna get into that
What
later.
about you, Miles?
Yeah, I haven't seen
Movies
it
to
too.
recommend. Movies to recommend. Movies to recommend. Come on.
Zola. So Zola,
Great choice.
Yeah,
Great choice.
Zola was a really good film.
Tell them.
Not a
little
lot
bit
of
about
people
the
watch
film.
it. Okay, so it's basically about this girl who's a stripper, and then she goes down with another stripper to Florida to go make some extra money because they've got places to perform out there. But throughout the experience, she kind of gets roped into prostitution. And
that's like too much. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff in that.
yeah,
movie. And
A lot of
what is it
cool
based
stuff.
off of?
it's based on a series of tweets, which from the
Really?
premise, I was like, that's
What?
kind of dumb. But I went to go see it with our buddy Sam, and it's not the type of movie that he normally likes, but afterwards he thanked me for making him go see it.
Yeah, it's
So
really,
it's like, yeah.
solid. It's really solid. He was about to put it in his most underrated movies. I'm like, but it's actually critically acclaimed. Yeah,
Yeah, but like nobody saw it.
Well, it did okay for indie movies.
I think it
actually.
fits here, right, for movies
Yeah.
to recommend. Yeah.
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 And then what's it called? And about the series of tweets, it's like in a real life stripper was talking about her entire life story through tweets.
Yeah, on our
Yeah.
Instagram, that was one of the movies because I asked, who, what was your favorite movies of the year, and someone very emphatically said Zola. They were like Zola, so like,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is really
It's
good.
a good
Once again,
movie,
I
yeah.
think it's a 24 film, right?
Mhm.
Is it? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just barely missed making my top 10.
That's another movie that I missed that I really wish I had seen.
What's it called? For me, I mean, this is not really my movie to recommend, but I just saying it because it's not. I don't think it's on anybody's ever list about King Richard, right? Is it
Really?
anybody on our list? No, that's not my one movie to recommend. But I'm just saying.
I don't
Oh,
think it
okay.
made any of our lists.
No,
No,
it didn't make
no,
any
it
of our
did
lists,
not.
right? Yeah,
No.
but I say like for a sports biopic film, it's definitely a little bit better there.
It kept me entertained the whole time.
Yeah, it was
you know?
entertaining. It was well filmed for what it was, and I think for
Yeah.
me, once again, the cinematographer did a solid job. Robert Elswit, who did like Punch Drunk Love, Magnolia, There Will Be Blood, Mission Impossible, Ghost Protocol, and this somehow like a lot of range on that guy. And the director Ronaldo Marcus Green, who took a very standard stock story about rags to riches, sports prodigy storyline into something that's more engaging about the morality of ever presence, fatherhood and training, and like nature versus nurture, etc. Blah blah blah. And like we could go into this, but there's more articulate reviews on there by Variety and Deadline to talk about it. And main thing is Will Smith was pretty great. One of his best performances of the year.
Yeah. At first, yeah, just going into this movie, I liked it, but I don't know. Personally, I'm not that into tennis and things like that. So I know who Venus and Serena Williams are. I had never heard of their father and all of his escapades beforehand, but he does seem like a real character. And I think that Will Smith does a good job of portraying him.
Yeah, he disappears into the role.
yeah.
I had no idea that like all of his kids, not Will Smith, but the real Richard Williams, like all of his kids were so successful and stuff.
Yeah.
Until I heard people talking about this movie like months ago. They were like, yeah, this new movie coming out, King Richard. And I was like, yeah, I know everyone knows Venus and Serena, but they're like, oh no, like his other daughters are like doctors and lawyers and shit. And I was like, holy shit, like that's insane. That's like, that shows some serious hustle. Also, I don't know, is Beyonce nominated for like best original song or something for that end credit song?
I don't think so.
I thought I heard something where she was like getting nominated or something like that, but I don't know. I think it was a very good song at the end credits too. By the way, it's a little repetitive, but I think pretty good, effective. I'll say.
Low key, another person that was really good, Anjana Ellis as Oracene, the mom.
Oh yeah.
She was really good. Like she's always been in the background for other films and stuff like that, but this is like her.
In real life, her character seems to be in the background. Behind King Richard.
It's hard to say. I don't want to say breakout because she's been in the industry for quite a bit, but she's been getting a lot more attention now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's it called? But for my other actual films to recommend that I haven't put on my list for a reason because I haven't rewatched it. These films are kind of ones that I feel like I need to rewatch to get a solid opinion. But Paul Schrader's The Card Counter. Blake and I were just actually talking about Paul Schrader a little bit about screenplays for any young screenwriter to best character story because it has all the basic tenets. Save a Cat, fucking screenwriting book recommends it. But after this Taxi Driver, he's been directing films like
First Reformed, which I love, by the way.
That's why
Hope
I'm
we can cover
surprised
that
you haven't
sometime.
seen The Card Counter.
Yeah, I really, really wanted to, and I just didn't get around to it.
It's on. You can watch it now.
I'm gonna watch it because I do like me Paul Schrader. I mean, obviously he wrote Taxi Driver, and I love. Have you ever heard me talk about First Reformed?
No, I haven't heard it.
I love that
about it.
movie.
It's really good.
People don't like it as much as me, apparently.
No, it is. It's critically
I
acclaimed.
showed it to a room full of other cinephiles, and they all went, "Yeah."
Which cinephiles are you talking about? Like, let's. Are they actually cinephiles, or are they
Ish.
just?
Sam, were you there?
I don't believe so. Sorry for which.
The
First Reformed.
The Ethan Hawke
No, I
priest
don't.
movie.
No, but you did want me to watch it a lot, and I unfortunately never got around.
We
to
both
it.
wanted you.
Sam was mostly
Whatever.
on it. Ricardo was mostly on it. I don't know. Just a lot of people. I've like recommended it to a lot of people, and nobody ever seems to like it as much as I do. I love First Reform. That's one of my favorite movies. That was 2018, right?
Yeah.
That was like one of my
Yeah.
favorite movies of 2018. I fucking love that movie.
It's really good. It did well. It even got nominated for best original screenplay, stuff like that. Yeah. Don't worry. It's very critically loved, that film. It's what's it called?
I'm not alone.
Yeah, you're not alone on that. Yeah, The Card Counter is interesting story. It has Oscar Isaac plays an ex-military guy who's now kind of involved in the gambling scene, but and one of his antagonists is played by the way, who this year's MVP, Willem Dafoe
Oh,
is kind of the villain character.
Hey.
and he's great in the film too. And Ty Sheridan, the guy who was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's in there too. So
Sorry, I know Rosie's not here to defend herself right here, but she said Willem Dafoe was handsome at one point, and I was like, oh my god, what does that say about me?
Willem Dafoe,
He is
no,
handsome.
He's not handsome,
He's
dude.
handsome.
Like,
He's a good-looking guy.
he looks like a goblin.
for that age, not bad, honestly.
I mean, yeah,
Willem
look,
Dafoe's a good-looking
Yeah,
guy.
and
Get
okay,
the
Willem
fuck
Dafoe
out
he
of
is
here.
not
No.
a good-looking dude.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, Willem Dafoe when he was young. Yeah, he was a good-looking guy. Now
He's
looks like a
very.
goblin.
He's got very defined features.
Yes, he does.
In a good way.
Yeah.
I'd say not in a good
Let's
way.
go.
All right, Willem Dafoe, if you're
Whatever.
listening, I'd like to apologize for Ron's
Willem Dafoe, I just want you
behavior.
to know I fucking love you, okay? As a actor and as a performer, you're amazing, but you're just not the best looking dude.
He's handsome. What the fuck are you talking about?
Have you seen young Willem Dafoe in like?
I looked up younger pictures of him and he looks fine, but I would not say he's handsome.
Okay, move.
Sorry,
Poor
Willem.
taste in men.
And then and the other ones, what's it called? I'm not really gonna mention Nightmare Alley, but I'll just brief mention. We'll talk about it in a future episode. And Mass, like I said, I just recently got it, and I was kind of peeking into it. Just became available for rent. Interesting movie. This premise is about basically the parents of the victim are after a school mass shooting. The parents of some of the shooting victims have to go and talk to the parents of the shooter, and it's basically just a whole movie about them interacting and talking about like the effects of it.
Brutal.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's directed by guess who?
Who?
The guy, the stoner in Cabin in the Woods.
Nice.
Yeah,
Awesome.
and it's apparently one of the.
This guy's supposed to be drooling right
Yeah.
now, and he's figuring it all out. What's going on?
And then, like I said, I haven't finished the movie yet. But it was just from what I've seen, and like I said, it was very hard to access this movie because it just was not available anywhere. And we will cover
Is
this.
it reminiscent of We Need to Talk About Kevin at all?
No, very
Okay.
different, very different. We will talk about this film when we get into our acting Oscars episode, and so I'll save it for then.
Oh,
All right.
okay.
So now to our last two categories:
Where they at?
the top 10 worst and the top 10 best. And the way we'll do it is we'll say our 10 through 7, or no, I mean 10 through 4, everyone, and then we'll tee up to our last 3.
I did not rank mine until now. I didn't know I just kind of put them all together.
Hence
But
it's a top 10. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's top 10. But
can
I was like,
can I say this for the record? This is subject to change, and this will be a very different list by the time we get to Oscar season. I just want everyone to know.
Yeah.
I've not seen everything, so this is as it stands. Like, there are movies I don't love that are on the list, and there's movies I don't hate that are on the bad list. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And hence the premise. Like, there's films that
There's a lot of movies we haven't seen yet.
yeah. And when we get into best the 10 best movies, so we'll mention the films that we were just not able to watch mainly because they're not available, but they might make it on the list. All right.
Yeah.
So let's go with top 10 worst. I'll just start it off. My number 10, Black Widow. What's it called? Do you guys have thoughts on it, or should we just move on?
So
I
You
mean,
wanna
we
just
did a
move on?
whole fucking video on it, and it's a bunch of poo poo.
yeah,
it's a big pile of
bad
poo-poo.
bad movie.
Okay.
It
Just
made
don't-
number 6 on mine.
It was
Yeah,
number
it's worse.
3
Number
on my list.
Okay. Number 9 is Old.
Mhm.
What's it called? Like I said,
That made number 1 on my list.
I actually think it's quite atrocious movie, but I give it a lot of props because of the cinematographer, and I give it a lot of props because it tried. But I actually think it's a pretty terrible movie. But so I'm actually being pretty generous. I think maybe 9 was a little like it should have been probably number 1, but I'll give it there for now.
Yeah.
Number 8, Mortal Kombat. I enjoyed it. It was fun, but it kind of sucks. But I
How
really liked it.
dare you? I mean, look, it's
No, I love
definitely-
it.
It's
I've seen
not
it like
on,
20 times.
I'd say it's not on neither of my top 10s, but I don't think it's 10 worst. There are 10 worse movies than
Have you
Mortal
not
Kombat.
I
seen
love
the
what
shooting
Ron said
style
to
of
me.
that film? It absolutely fucking
I
atrocious.
remember Ron.
No,
Unfortunately,
it's
I
got
didn't
some
subject
big
myself to that movie.
Wait,
I
sorry.
love the fact that I was at the gym with Ron working out, and he was talking to me about Mortal Kombat, and then he looked at me and he's like, "But don't watch it. You're not gonna like it. It's not for you."
It's like, it's really not. Like, I know Miles would have an aneurysm if he watched it. Like, it's fine. It's
Would
like, again, yeah, you would probably be laughing. You guys would be laughing the whole time. And honestly, it is laughable. There are
It's
many
really
moments
bad.
where I'm just like, yeah, this is bad. But like, I'm eating it up. I'm like, I'm enjoying
No, I
it.
know.
I've seen those like good, bad Mortal Kombat movies before.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. So it's like
yeah.
it's not in that vein where it's that goofy, and perhaps they should have gone a little bit more
Mhm.
goofy. But there's a lot of stuff in there that I did like. Specifically with
It's your favorite movie of the year.
Scorpion and Sub-Zero. No, no, definitely not. But
I am
yeah.
Scorpion. Okay. I say, like I said, I enjoyed the movie, but I enjoyed the movie, but I think it's filmed terribly. It's written terribly, and
Yes.
also like
I agree.
Actually, you know what? Yeah, honestly, it's a guilt. I'll say this, it's my guilty pleasure of the year. Though.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it sucks.
That
but
one in
it's a guilty
King Kong,
pleasure.
but all King Kong
Wait,
was done much better.
Wait, no, Kong vs. Godzilla or Godzilla is actually
Yeah.
well done.
Yeah, that
it's
was
actually well done.
for the most part, but then there are again all
Oh,
the human elements are dog
no,
shit.
but it's well
But-
filmed. Like,
Yes.
yeah, that's the difference.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. And you knew what it was. Night Teeth. I'm pretty sure none of you guys seen it. It's like
No.
it's that girl from Sweet Life on Deck. I forgot, like Cody's girlfriend or whatever.
Nope.
You know what I'm talking about. I know you've seen Sweet Life on Deck, right?
I watched Sweet Life of Zack and Cody.
Yeah.
I don't know about Sweet. I watched a couple episodes of
I
Sweet
think
Life
I was a
on
little
Deck.
bit too old for that.
Yeah,
when it came
it's
out.
like-
yeah.
It's like, oh, I forgot you guys are older than me. What's it called? It's I mean, it sucks. It's basically about these two hot one of the girls being from Sweet Life on Deck, hot vampires that get like the kid from Bumblebee, and he's a driver for them. He's like, hey, drive us around. Oh, hey, do you know we're vampires? But hey, do you know we're sexy? Oh, but did you know there's a secret war between Hispanic vampire hunters and hot
What?
white vampires? Not even joking.
What the fuck?
And then at the
You're
end,
kind of making me want to watch this.
Yeah.
and then at the end it's like, but what's really hot? Us fucking as vampires. And that's how it ends.
Jeez.
You're kind of making me want to watch it.
It's ridiculous, it's fun, it's shitty. But it makes the list. House of Gucci, we had an episode on it. I don't want to give it more attention. Mamma mia, it's a me Jared Leto.
Laughable.
He's a horrible actor.
The Tomorrow War,
Also on my list.
like I said,
very
it
bad movie.
has some of the, oh my god, the time travel mechanics are absolutely stupid. Some laughable, some really good visual effects, and some laughable visual effects. Watch Corridor Crew, and they'll break down both. And just what a waste of Chris Pratt. Halloween Kills. Oh, Halloween Kills.
Evil dies tonight.
Another
Evil
movie I
dies
didn't
tonight.
subject myself to.
I know you have a paragraph. You want to talk about it?
I'm gonna save it because for a very specific reason.
Okay. Yeah, it sucks. We'll let you
Yeah,
go.
it sucks.
And that's it. That's my 10 through 4. Miles, go through your 10 through 4.
Okay, so my 10 through 4 is going to be House of Gucci at number 10.
Okay.
Probably could have been higher on this list. Escape Room Tournament of Champions, the movie that I left the theater 15 minutes in.
Okay. Number 8.
Number 8, Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Wow.
I never saw the original Justice League, and honestly, I don't know if he improved things, but it was
did.
still pretty bad. Yeah, I'm not a big superhero guy. You guys know that. And I just did not like that film.
All right.
I thought it was boring. Number 6, A Quiet Place Part 2.
Nice.
Yes. Number 5, Army of the Dead.
Nice.
Another Zack Snyder film. Man, he's just, popping out those shitters this year. And or wait, sorry, that was number 6.
And by the way, we have not seen all the terrible
yeah.
films of this
Yes.
year. Like,
Yes.
I know there's
These are the ones that we've watched.
like I know
Yeah.
there's like Thunder Force, which I just couldn't get through, and I couldn't.
Yeah.
So I couldn't put it on this list. That's
Yeah.
the Melissa McCarthy superhero film on Netflix.
Yikes.
It's terrible. But like,
Yeah. And then number 4 is Black Widow,
okay,
which
that's
Philip
fine.
mentioned
Yeah.
earlier. Yeah.
All right. What about you, Blake? Your 10 through 4.
Number 10 is A Quiet Place Part 2. I don't hate it, but in terms of movies we've watched this year,
Yeah. That's
number 9 is Shang-Chi. Once again, not bad, but same old spiel. Number 8 is Black Widow. Number 7 is The Matrix Resurrections. You guys probably want to talk about that a little bit more, right?
yeah. We'll talk about it more.
Okay.
And we had a whole episode, so I should probably not.
Yeah.
I didn't get to talk about it.
Okay, so the whole dealio is well, do you want to say anything about it?
Yeah,
real quick?
I'll-
yeah, just
I
say
wrote a
something about it
paragraph
real
for
quick. Yeah.
A paragraph.
I wrote a paragraph for
Fuck.
Matrix.
Okay.
It's a very short paragraph.
Stanza. maybe.
Once
Yeah.
again, it isn't that this movie is terrible. It's just that it really has no purpose. I found the initial setup to be interesting in its own right, but the entire first act just dragged on while also trying to replicate the original. I've never been a huge Matrix fan, but I'd honestly take the original sequels over this.
Okay.
All right, my number 6 is Don't Breathe 2, because Rape Man.
Yeah. Okay.
I could never get over that. My number 5 is Army of the Dead. And my number 4 is Hasaguchi.
Okay. What about you, Ronald?
Starting
Give
off,
it to me.
number 10, House of Gucci. Yeah, I mean, we did a whole episode thing on it. Boo. Number 9, Quiet Place Part 2.
Really? I thought that wouldn't make your list.
Yeah.
It
Again,
got worse in
this-
your memory?
Yeah, it got worse in my memory, and also the fact that, again, like the movies that I watched this year, I watched a lot of movies that I liked, but none that I like, and then a few that I hated, but most of them were like okay. So I'm filling out the top 10 where I'm just like, you know what, House of Gucci, there's some stuff I did like in it. Quiet Place Part 2, there's some stuff I did like in it, but for the most part, no good.
You haven't seen Space Jam, right?
No,
Okay,
no.
okay.
Again, see, I feel like we kind of saved ourselves because there's a lot of shit I know that would like flooded this list, but like
Exactly.
We purposely avoided it.
number 8, Don't Breathe 2, same thing where it's like again, there's a lot of shit that I liked in it, but like
It's hard to get
overall-
behind the main character.
Yeah, and just overall, it's just like there's just a lot of
What's the
stupid shit.
point?
Number 7, Matrix Resurrections. That one was just
Yeah.
dog shit. Whatever. There's so many shit. Ugh, gross. Number 6, Black Widow. Same thing. Like it should have been good. Movie should have come out like 6 years ago, and it was just bad. Just not good. And number 5, Old. This is where the movies where it's like it's the last one, really, where there's stuff that I liked in it that I think was cool, but like man, where there's just so much, just the dialogue. Sorry, M Night, but this is dog shit.
It was
Yeah.
it was really bad.
All right.
Very bad.
All right.
And
What's
then-
number 4?
4, Halloween Kills. Again,
Okay.
me and Blake went on about that movie, but it's like, evil dies tonight, and it's just bad, repetitive. It completely undoes everything that the previous film did.
Listen to our episode on it, and like I said, we'll have just go to our channel.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, let's get into it. For my number 3, Matrix Resurrections. I have all I need to say about it. You can listen to the episode. Absolute atrocity on every way. So yeah.
I don't agree with the low ranking, but to each their own, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like if you guys just know.
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
you
yeah,
guys
yeah.
listen to our
Yeah,
episode.
listen to our
Let me say,
episode.
Yeah, listen to our episode. Just absolute shit cinematography.
Mhm.
Number 2, Space Jam: A New Legacy. I had the wow, that film just torture to the eyes.
Just from what I've heard, looks pretty.
Yeah.
bad.
Rick and Morty in their weird PG version coming in for no random reason. Then
I've-
butchering every single Warner Brothers franchise as possible. Don Cheadle being a villain for some reason.
Hey, that was Warner Brothers trying to fuck over the Matrix before.
Hey, don't spoil the movie for me. I might still want to watch it.
Should we give a spoiler warning for Space?
Yes.
Yeah.
They desexualized Lola Bunny. Oh no.
Oh. Okay, oh god. And number 1, Spiral. Oh gosh.
Excuse me,
another
is
movie
Spiral
I
from the
didn't
Book of
subject
Saw?
Yeah.
Spiral.
How
I don't
dare
wanna
you
give it that,
disrespect.
but my god.
Yeah, another film I didn't subject myself to this year.
How
That was
did
our
it-
second
how
episode.
did it fool me? And I should have known because I saw that the director was the director of all these other Saw movies.
Wait, I think that was our first episode.
It
That
was
was
our
our
first one that was released.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
the first
yes,
episode
yes.
released. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the first one we recorded.
Yep.
And that, oh my gosh, because like it fooled me into thinking because I was on the high of Chris Rock of he made some directorial. He made he directed a film before that did really well. And I've been trying to get Ron to watch that film forever, but still unsuccessful. One
It's not
day
gonna happen.
it'll happen one day. I forced him on many things before.
we'll
It's
see what
like,
happens.
Yeah. And he was great in Fargo. And apparently he was like, I love Saw and I want to reinvent this franchise. Here's a pitch that he gave was basically Jigsaw going after corrupt cops. I'm like, wow, that's a cool concept. But
Sure
decided to
is.
give it to a director who directed other Saw films and from the writers of Jigsaw, which was okay. We had an episode.
Yep.
Okay, go on.
Okay, so my number 3 is called The Girl Who Believes in Miracles. Now, I kind
I
of
wanna
want
hear this.
I want to talk about this movie a little bit because it is about a young girl, like probably like 9 or 10 years old, who has a brain tumor and can perform spiritual healing. So she basically has this experience after she prays for her brother to be really good at soccer. and prays very hard.
It's amazing.
And they win a game while her grandpa is beating up teenagers who didn't pay for their food. A very wholesome Christian movie here.
Wow.
And then they go out to a lake and she finds a dead bird and she's praying for the dead bird to like live. And she sees God and God heals this bird for her. And she's like, oh, I can heal people and stuff. So then she goes home and finds out, oh yeah, I can heal other people. She heals her friend who was in a car accident or something and is paralyzed from like the neck down or whatever. And she's like, she touches him and she like prays for him. And then the next day he's able to walk again. And then people start flooding to her house and they're like, oh yeah, help us, like heal
What's
us.
this movie called?
The Girl Who Believes in Miracles.
We need to
What a
watch
title.
this.
This is
Yeah,
like a
we need
this
to
is like
watch
a
it.
God's Not Dead Jesus movie, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And then they find out she's got an inoperable brain tumor and she gets taken to the hospital. And the doctors are like, yeah, this is all just like a figment of her mind. Like literally she heals a paraplegic. And the doctors are like, yeah, this is just like a figment of her imagination, right?
she
She
heal
heals a
herself?
blind girl too. Okay. Like her last wish is like, she wants to go back to the lake where she saw God. And so the whole town gets together to break her out of the hospital to take her back to this lake.
Oh, it's like the Dexter finale.
and when she gets there, she dies and becomes like this like weird CG like spirit thing and walks out onto the water.
It sounds amazing. That should have been our top 10 best.
Wow.
It's just really bad. And then she comes back to life afterwards because her family prays hard enough.
Is this directed by Neil Brayton by any chance?
No.
That's how God works, right? You just
But
have to
I
pray
know
hard
I
enough.
watched this movie almost intentionally because I saw the premise and I was like, oh my God, this has got to be really bad. And so I sat down and I watched it, but it was like the funny type of bad where the whole time I was like, why the fuck? The central conflict of the entire movie is just that the doctors don't believe that she's able to heal these fucking people who they obviously see have been fucking healed. And it's like, I'm sorry.
Wow. Oh, that's
But
fine,
yeah.
it was enjoyable. Oh, number 2.
Yep. Number 2, F9.
Okay. We had
Also
an
known
entire-
as FU because
we
you
had
know.
an entire
Yeah.
episode on this.
Mhm.
so-
Oh, we
Yeah.
did.
Yep.
All right.
And number 1 is OLD, old.
Okay.
Yep.
Solid. What about you, Blake?
My number 3 is Spiral.
Okay. Solid.
From the Book of Saw.
My
Mm.
number 2 is Old.
Okay.
Yep.
And your number 1.
And my number 1 is Halloween Kills. And I want to read my paragraph I wrote.
You still do?
I still do.
Okay.
This by far takes the cake for worst viewing experience of the year. The truth of the matter is the plot is so thin and stretched out that I struggle to even call this a movie.
It is incredibly thin.
There really is just nothing going on for the majority of the runtime. The reason I rated it so low.
Michael Myers. Go kill him. Some random.
And I thought they were joking in that scene. The reason it's so lowly rated for me is that it's not even really a fucking movie. Nothing happens. There is like no plot. Like literally, it's like you could summarize it in like 3 sentences.
Yeah.
It's just so abysmal.
Michael keeps killing people.
They're making another one.
They kill a wrong guy.
This is this. Michael
comes back to
goes
life.
from the burning house to his actual house. And that's,
Yeah.
That's the entire movie.
That's the whole
And
movie.
All right.
I just feel like it's the most filler movie I have
Right.
ever seen in my entire life.
Listen to our episode on the
Yeah, it's a pretty good one. I like it. We talk
Yeah.
about like a
lot
bunch
of
their
Halloween.
movies
Yeah.
and stuff.
and this is basically a promotion for our other episodes.
Yep. Okay, so my number 3 is F9 because fuck that franchise, fuck that movie. That movie was bullshit.
I agree.
But I will say that my picks of 5, 4, and 3 being Old, Halloween Kills, and F9 were at least enjoyable in the sense that they were actually laughable at moments where I was like enjoying myself, like laughing, like, wow, this movie's bad. But this is like something I could get drunk to and maybe watch with like the guys, and it could be somewhat entertaining. Not so much with number 2, which is Army of the Dead, which was just bad. It was just bad. The whole, I know they had to cut out characters and shit, but a lot of it just looked like shit. The dialogue was stupid. The character setups were
what could have been a
wasted.
cool premise.
Yeah, it starts off really good, and I was like, "Oh, this is great! Like, I'm actually gonna really enjoy this. This is kind of like what I was hoping the sequel to Zombieland would be or something, right? Like it's in Vegas, it's like over the top and goofy, and then it takes itself so fucking seriously for the rest of the movie.
You didn't like the
And-
sushi truck scene?
It's so bad, but whatever. We have an episode on that too.
Yes.
Number 1, Spiral. Just brutal. Watching it, I was like just looking at my phone, like, how much longer do I have to watch this fucking movie, man? It's bad. I'm a decent fan of the Saw franchise. I mean, I really kind of tap out after a while, but like it's still, and it's just brutalized everything about it.
Can
Like,
you do
it's just
your
terrible.
pig voice one more time?
We're like, okay, because in this version, because there's like, of course, oh my god, I can't remember his name. The guy, Toby Bell, who does Tobin Bell,
Tobin Bell.
who
He's
does
not
the
in
voice. Yeah, he's not in it. And
They,
it's like that's
they
like
replaced him with the Ben Shapiro looking dude.
Yeah, and that dude is like his voice, like when he's doing his Saw
Critters.
voice, he's like, "Hey, can you work out here? Like I've brought you here to show you the sin of your ways." And it's like the goofiest fucking voice for what's supposed to be like a really intimidating character. Dumb. We have video. Go watch it. It's not the best video, but go watch it.
It's a fun one.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Okay.
It's our second episode.
What's it called? No, it's our
Well, technically our first released,
episode.
but our second episode we ever recorded. So
Oh.
there were some growing pains.
Now we get into our top 10 best movies of the years. And I like to preface this that there was a lot of films that are obviously on the award circuit that, and we haven't covered, or we just simply either
Have
didn't
not
have
seen.
time or stuff like that. Obviously, one of them, Mass, mentioned earlier. Parallel Mothers, Pedro Moldovar's newest film that came out. Once again, legendary filmmaker. Almost was tying with Parasite for best foreign film. Drive My Car, Worst Person in the World, Hand of God, Flea, the weird animated foreign film looking film. Compartment Number 6, Memoria, which is only going to be in theaters and never streaming, never in anything. And one day we'll all watch it somehow, and whenever it comes to
Maybe it'll come to like a state nearby, and then we'll take a bigger road trip out there.
Yeah. Let's go. Red Rocket, Red Rocket, Vendetta, Cyrano hasn't come out, obviously. And yeah, there's other stuff too. Yeah. There's more. There's more to go on.
There's
more to go on.
quite a few. The release system for this year has been kind of wonky.
Yeah, this is pandemic and shit.
Yeah.
All right. So, do you want to start off this top 10 for your 10 through 4?
Yes. Okay, so number 10 is Pig with Nicolas Cage.
Solid. Listen to our
Yes.
episode on it.
Yes, great movie. Number 9 is Come On, Come On, which
We will have an episode on.
yes, we will have an episode on it. Also really like that movie. Number 8 is Titan, which
Let's talk about it now. Let's
yeah,
talk about it now.
Titan. Wow, what a movie! It literally, like, I went into it thinking, so I had mentioned this before to the guys. I was like, wow, this seems like I'm getting a lot of essences of David Cronenberg's Crash, not to be confused with the Ray Spady Crash, but earlier, like 1996, David Cronenberg film, which was about people who intentionally get into car accidents for sexual like fulfillment.
Nice.
It's very weird. But Titan, yeah, it ended up not being much like that at all. But it was still a very interesting film. Kind of did feel like two films in once, or
Yes.
in one, because there's definitely a very distinct turning point where the tone and kind of theme of the film changes. But overall, really great movie. Did you guys have anything you wanted to say about it?
Yeah, what's it called? Ron and I, we watched the director's first film, Julia DeCorno, Raw, which was really good. I loved it. It was like weird coming of age movie told through cannibalism. Raw. And I probably enjoyed that film a little bit more, but this film is also gives more props to because it's more ambitious. She has a really interesting career.
Yeah, I would agree. I enjoyed Raw more. It's probably the one I would probably visit, but that's kind of changed. Honestly, I don't know. I kind of feel like revisiting Titan, and yeah. we'll get
Also,
to it.
I want to talk about Vincent Lindon's performance. I think that
He's
he was
great.
kind of
Oh,
the
he's awesome.
the
Yeah.
greatest role in this film.
He took
Dude,
2 years
yeah.
to prep for that film. Yeah.
yeah, like you've got his stuff like his goofy dance scene. It's just so believable.
And his
And-
pull-ups.
yeah, and and him injecting steroids into his ass.
Yeah, he's a
Um,
man dealing with his fledgling masculinity as he's becoming older, and he's just trying to recapture it. And it's yeah,
And I mean, just like the amount of emotional range that he needed to portray, because He was, obviously you could tell through his performance that he was in denial about having lost his son and was willing to accept this person who you could tell pretty early on before he even reveals it that he knows this isn't his son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil this one too much.
Yeah, let's not say
because-
too much
yeah,
for
like,
people to see.
Yeah, because I think this is one you got to watch. As lowing as little as possible. And if we have like a full video on it, like maybe eventually, that'd be cool. But
Oh, we
Yeah.
have to.
Yeah.
It's,
I mean, like,
I have a
she's-
little more to say, but I have to hold off for a reason.
Wait, is there any spoilers in what you want to say?
No, I said I have to hold off in saying what I have to say.
No, just say it now because I save on time. We got we gotta.
It
Yeah.
does kind of have a spoiler in it. Can we do like a 2-second spoiler warning? It'll take 10 seconds.
I can't. Let's not have any spoilers for that. I
Okay.
really for
It's
anybody
great.
watching
It's an
it-
interesting. I'll cut off my first sentence that I was very excited to say. Because it has one of my favorite scenes of the year, but I can't talk about that. It's got great cinematography, an exhilarating story, interesting characters. It dives into gender roles, body dysmorphia, has some great body horror. It was just one of the most engaging movies I saw all year. I loved it a ton.
Yeah.
yeah, I get that.
Absolutely same. One day, I think when she comes out with the third film and it wins the Palme d'Or again. By the way, this won the Palme d'Or. Congratulations!
Yes.
This is actually the actual big achievement.
And yet
Oui,
I
oui.
don't see it like anywhere in terms
It's
of
out and
American
running.
awards.
It's not
It's so
gonna-
disappointing.
Yeah, it makes sense why, because it's like, look, it's just absolutely gonna turn off a lot of Oscar voters.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
which is fun, which is unfortunate, but it's whatever.
It,
Like I
it's
said, it won-
slightly too racy.
It won the Palme d'Or. It did well in Europe.
yeah.
It's good for her.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So okay, what's
moving on to my number 7, Mitchell's versus the Machines.
great
which,
fucking movie.
oh my
which
God.
we'll cover in a future best animated feature episode.
Okay, so I won't say too much about it, but I do want to mention one thing. Watching it, I was like, okay, this is just the Monconcho family from Kill la Kill.
Yeah. Let's go.
Running around blowing up robots. It's
Yeah.
great.
Oh,
Yeah.
don't say too much. I
Okay.
want because I think I'll say this: the same animators and same creative minds behind Into the Spider-Verse.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And it's the highest. I think it's one of the highest rated films this year. Like 97%. The average rating 8.8 at Metacritic.
Mhm.
It's like 90.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I love the art style. Just beautiful.
I hope it beats
Yeah.
Luca for best animated film. Luca's the first favorite to win. Then it's this one.
I was liking
yeah,
Luca.
they
I didn't
really
finish watching it. But I
they
liked it.
really did some interesting stuff with the animation in
Yeah.
this. Yeah. Okay.
I didn't have it on my list because I just haven't watched it again, and I wanted to
Yeah.
watch it. But maybe it'll change. And then what else?
Number 6, The French Dispatch,
Which
Wes
we have an
Anderson.
episode, and it would just
Yeah.
it's
Oui.
fantastic. Yeah.
It has unfortunately kept on dropping down my list because there's been a lot of good stuff that
Yeah.
has come out since it came out. It was higher up when it first came out. But wow, it just not my favorite Wes Anderson film, but a really great Wes Anderson film.
Yeah.
And I was disappointed when we were talking about the Critics' Choice Awards and the Golden
Oh
Globes.
yeah, I know.
That it didn't
Got
get
wiped out.
yeah, and that it didn't even get Best Ensemble Cast.
I almost was about
Which-
to put it on my most underrated film, but I
Yeah.
was just gonna mention how underrated it is. and
Yeah.
how it got savage, but it did well money wise. But just
Yeah. Number 4, number 5, Last Night in Soho, another Edgar Wright film that I'm talking about today.
No.
Just great film. I really enjoyed it. I haven't seen as much of the stuff as Philip has in terms of what inspired it, but for me, it was beautiful, and the story was enjoyable. Well, as enjoyable as that story could be, I guess. I really liked it. And then number 4 is
actually, do you guys want to chime in on that? Since it's already brought
Yeah,
up.
no. Last night in Soho, I had a good blast. I didn't get. I really wanted to be on the episode to talk about it. I loved the Anya Taylor-Joy. I loved the
Thomas and Mackenzie.
Yes, she was fantastic. I think a lot of the camera work and story beats the story. What are they called? The stripped economy that Edgar Wright is able to pull off in the movie was I think just really well done. I liked it. It's not his best written film. Not even probably I think it's up there with like his best shot films though, because it's like it just looks gorgeous. As soon as I saw them going up to her room that was like next to the neon sign that was just sticking outside the window. I was
Yeah.
like, fuck yes, I love this.
Oh,
This is
and
kinda-
all the mirror shots.
yeah,
I-
yeah,
Yeah,
there's,
all the-
and
there's
the
so
dance
much
scene.
stuff, and it pulled me
Yeah.
in. I was engaged throughout the entire film. I
Mhm.
was excited to see where it goes, and I was pretty satisfied at the end. So like, it's just a overall really enjoyable film experience. For me.
I have got complex feelings about Last Night in Soho. I think it's good. I think in terms of cinematography, it's great. I think it is Edgar Wright's best shot film. I think it's visually beautiful. My problem with it is I kind of just wanted to connect a little bit more to the
Sandy.
yeah, like the actual main character, not Anna Taylor-Joy. I understand she's kind of like a vessel in which to tell a story, but I kind of like there was a lot that fell flat with her side. Like she's obviously the vessel. She goes to sleep and she sees Anna Taylor-Joy and all this crazy shit happens. But on her side, I just felt a little bit robbed. Like her whole like kind of boyfriend thing, it never worked for me. I was like, I don't buy that this guy would be into her because from the outside world, she's crazy, right? Only she can see these like paranormal occurrences. And I just felt like her side of the story felt a little lackluster for me. And because of that, it bothered me. And I can't say I loved it because of that. But every other aspect I thought was really well done. And it really breaks my heart that that part fell so flat for me because I want to like this movie more.
Yeah, I guess it's one of the few times I kind of completely agree with you on that part. Like I said, and I think I don't know. I've heard rumors. I don't know if it's true that there's like this weird longer cut version or something like that. Because like it's, I'll say this. I appreciate this film is like this is a good foray for people who want to get into 70s, 60s psychological horror films, particularly from Polanski or even like Don't Look Now, those films, right? But as much as it pulls inspiration from it, I think it pulls like just the surface level aesthetics from those films, but not necessarily what makes those films great in terms of like the pacing, the shots, the feel, and how it slowly gets in madness. We had a whole episode on it, so I don't really want to get into it. So that's why for me it held back on that part, and actually, if anything, his economic style doesn't fit this genre.
Yes,
that
I
well.
agree.
And it's like and it's fortunate. I really like this film a lot, but I'm just glad. I'm glad that a lot of people like it, and I've seen a lot of people that like watch this film and like watch the films that inspired it, and it kind of been this weird gateway drug for that, and that's cool. So, and it sucks because it was on my top 10 for a while, but it just kind of kept dropping for me, and it's ultimately out. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. And then my number 4, Coda, which
that was
stands
fucking
for
fantastic.
Children of Deaf Adults. Now, if you have not watched this movie yet, go watch it right now. Pause the podcast and then come back and then listen
Yeah.
to us talk about it because
See you in 2 hours.
just great movie. I really liked.
Surprise of the year.
Yeah, I really liked the choices that they made. Kind of putting you on the outside a little bit. I had one friend who actually watched it without audio. He watched it completely just subtitled.
Okay, that's interesting.
Or
Okay.
sorry, no, he watched it without subtitles. So basically, you were just getting kind of her side of the story, so you couldn't tell like what they were signing or anything in it.
Yeah.
And he said that made it actually a more powerful film, he thinks, because you become the outsider at that point where you don't really understand what's going on and all the interpretation is just coming through her. So it helps you kind of feel what it's like to not be able to experience the story that's happening.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So I thought that was interesting. I kind of want to go back and do that again. I wish I had done that the first time now, just to kind of see what that would have been like.
No, I think the first time was sound. The second time without.
That's
what
he did it with sound. He didn't do it with subtitles. So the
but just without subtitles.
yeah. So the
okay.
ASL wasn't subtitled,
Okay. No,
which I think is
no,
a
I
really
think-
interesting way. He said that he understood what was going on still,
Yeah.
but you just got that extra sense of distance, and because they're so emotive,
Right.
he can tell what they're trying to express.
Right. I think that's a good
Which, yeah.
exercise in yeah. But I think the first time still because you want to just understand.
Yeah.
Well, you can still understand it, but to get the full experience. And second time without. One day we're gonna talk about in a future episode.
Yeah.
It is on my list somewhere. I won't say where. and then since I know nobody has Apple TV Plus, so except me, so we'll all have a sit down to watch this film.
This is
Yeah.
a movie that made me want to get Apple TV Plus, and I'm probably going to get it
Nice.
because of this film.
Okay,
I gotta pee
10
first.
through 4.
I gotta pee first.
Oh, okay. Okay. While Blake is playing, Ron will give his 10 through 4.
Okay, so my number 10 is Last Night in Soho.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we all discussed
Respectable.
by that. Yeah. Number 9 is The Last Duel. I know we weren't supposed to have other ones from this list or whatever, but I like Last Duel a lot, so it's number 9. Number 8 is The Suicide Squad. I think James Gunn did a phenomenal job of adapting The Suicide Squad and picking up the pieces where where Warner Brothers left it just completely in tatters. No one gave a fuck about Suicide Squad. I didn't give a fuck anymore. I was like, whatever. And then I heard James Gunn was on it, and I was excited, and I decided to watch it, and I'm so glad I did. It was super fun, and it was one of my favorite theater experiences this year. It was just a good time. It was funny. And just enjoyable all around.
It's one of the few in the museum. Okay, by the way, my rating has improved from on the shelf to in the museum for that film. I love it. I watched it's the films I watched the most this year.
I got it on Blu-ray, and I'm so happy I did. I was like, fuck yes, for Christmas. I mean, so I was just like, it's just really up there. Is now one of my favorite James Gunn movies, and yeah, that says a lot because I really liked pretty much all his movies so far. And again, we have an episode on that. Go check it out. And we paired that with what is it?
Dirty Dozen.
Dirty Dozen, because they take a lot from there. Number 7 is Spider-Man: No Way Home. Again, that's
That's
probably
fine. That's understandable. You know,
Yeah,
that's
up there.
I understand that. I considered maybe having it's probably in my top 15. As a guy who hates Marvel movies,
That's shocking.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, like again, we have a whole thing talking about it. I gushed all over it. I fucking loved it. It was just a great time. Yeah. Number 6 is Titan. I really enjoyed it at first. I enjoyed it. It's a lot. It goes very deep. There's so much to unpack. We've already talked about it. Number 5 is The Tragedy of Macbeth. I know
we're gonna talk about it in a future episode. So
yeah, it's fucking, oh god, it's easily one of the best looking films I've seen in just a very long time, but definitely this year. It's gorgeous, fantastic performances throughout, beautiful adaptation. We'll talk about it later. And number 4 is Pig. That was a shocker for me. Again, I was expecting some John Wick ripoff or something, and it was actually just a really good movie.
I'm glad I told you, like, hey, like, oh, by the way, the trailers are.
No, it's great. I enjoyed it a lot. So yeah, Pig. Again, we have an episode on that, so we'll listen. But
and that's your number 4.
great. Yeah, number 4.
All right. For me, and like I said, back on Pig. I love Pig. It broke my heart to not put it in my top 10. Actually, it went quite far down the list, but I love that film. What's it called?
Oh wait, quick. Honorable mentions: Godzilla vs. Kong.
Yeah, no, Godzilla vs. Kong. I
And the Snyder Cut.
Yes.
I could faith put them in my top 10, but I did enjoy them. So whatever.
And what's it called? For as you know, the Suicide Squad and Spider-Man: No Way Home. That's like weirdly enough the only 2 in the museum ratings that I've upgraded Suicide Squad to in the museum.
Nice.
That's not on my top 10, and that's just because like I'm trying to be objective about it, even though it's a subjective list. But I love those
personal
films.
top 10.
Yeah, I love those films. I probably watched them the most, which is Suicide Squad and Spider-Man: No Way Home. All right, so my 10 through 4. Number 10, Come On, loved it. I love Mike Mills' work with Beginners and 20th Century Woman, and now this one. We'll have a future episode, so won't get too much into it. Number 9, Spencer. We had a whole debate on this, so you can listen to that. Number 8, West Side Story. We had an episode. We'll talk about it. Let's call it. Number 7, Titan. We talked about it. It was fantastic. And number 6, The Green Knight. Oh yeah.
Can't believe you like that movie.
What's it called? Number 5, The French Dispatch. Can you believe I like that movie?
Oui.
Yeah, I can. You like it more than me, apparently.
Yeah, it's what's it called? It
was only my number 6, and I'm the bigger
The
Wes
Wes
Anderson
Anderson
fan. Yeah.
I absolutely enjoyed that film. Number 4, The Tragedy of Macbeth. We have an upcoming episode where I go more in depth to it, but yes, I echo Ron's thoughts. Absolutely beautiful. And number 3,
Wait,
thought
We
wait,
go
no.
to Miles.
Wait,
Blake-
oh wait,
Blake
you haven't
needs to
go?
talk about his
you
first. Sorry
peed, so you
about
lost
that.
your spot. I'm just kidding.
No,
All right, Blake.
yep.
My number 10 is Last Night in Soho.
Yeah,
I
just
don't-
made-
same as me.
I want to quick. Miles got to talk like an hour about every one of his.
Oh, I know. Then that's why we all chimed in and stuff, right?
I just want to make a couple quick comments.
Okay, just make some quick
Okay,
comments.
quick comment. quick
I don't
comments.
love it, but like Philip said, it's like a good gateway drug to better movies. My number 9 is Spencer. My number 8 is West Side Story, because I like that it kind of retroactively fixes problematic natures of the original. Number 7 is Blue Bayou.
Blue Bayou.
Blue Bayou. Number 6 is Malignant, because I love that movie. We already kind of talked about it. I had to switch around a couple things. My number 5 is Pig. We have a whole episode on that. Oh, 4 and 3. I kind of want to switch them, but I'll just go as is. My number 4 is Licorice Pizza right now. Which,
Okay.
to be fair, I think in a couple days will probably be higher because I really think that's a movie you just have to think about and rewatch. I already kind of want to see it a second time. Licorice Pizza, it's great. I'm assuming you two.
We're gonna have an episode on
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
We're gonna have an episode on it, but
It's great.
yeah,
I think we're gonna have an episode on it.
yeah. No,
We are, we
it's,
are.
It's great. It's a Paul Thomas Anderson movie.
Yeah.
it's
That's
going
the
to be
film
great.
that Ron is dreading to watch.
well,
Yeah.
I'm not
Well,
dreading to
it's-
watch
See,
it at all. I've
I-
not said anything bad about this fucking
I'm
movie.
joking. I'm joking.
I wanted to do.
I honestly really thought hard about switching it with my number 3 right now, but when we get to Oscar season, this will probably be my number 1. It feels like a movie that I'm going to like more and more as each week passes by.
Yeah. I honestly wanted to do that movie, an episode about it back in November after Philip and I went to go see
Yeah,
it
I
in
know.
70 millimeter
We're
IMAX.
We're trying to get everybody
Yeah.
to go on that day. Yeah.
And it was like not even like 70 millimeter like digital. It was
Film.
actual projected film.
And it was probably the best way to watch that film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check
It
that
was just amazing, and just the location that we visited and
Yeah.
stuff like that. We might put some pictures up on the screen. Who knows?
Yeah.
But it was just a beautiful, well done way to view it.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
agree. Okay. Do you want to just go? Let's go.
Okay.
Your top 3.
My top 3:
Let's tee it up each time.
Tick Tick Boom.
Boom.
Number 3.
Number 2.
Number 2, Spencer.
Boom. Number 2.
Number 1, Licorice Pizza.
Boom, 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 boom. Licorice
Yes.
Pizza is Miles' number 1. It's his number 1 film. Give it up. His number 1 film.
Mhm.
All right, now, Ron, you want to go to your top 3?
My top 3. Number 3 at the top of the list. I know you're gonna give me some shit for this, but it's Minati.
No, I'm sorry. You
I
cannot take it
know-
out. It was no. You
No,
gotta take
I
something
watched
else.
that shit in 2021 in February. I'm sorry, that counts for me.
Okay,
It was literally running for the 2020 Oscars.
Whatever. I don't care. I just,
All right, okay,
it's-
okay. You have an
that was-
alternative outside.
Oh my god. I don't. Then I'll bump down Pig. And then number
Okay.
2 is Dune, because I fucking love Dune. It's probably my favorite cinematic experience this year. It was just had such a blast watching it. You know it. Number 1, Green Knight. Awesome.
Your number 1 is Green Knight. Your number 2, amazing. Number 3, non-existent.
It doesn't
Yeah.
exist. It's in the void.
Yep.
Next, coach.
Okay, you.
My number 3, as everybody's is Tick Tick Boom.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
My number 2 is The Green Knight.
Boom. Number 2, Green Knight.
And my number 1 is Titan.
Okay.
Perfect.
We had such a hard time getting Blake to watch Titan.
That's not true. I just couldn't see it when you were going out to see it.
Let's go on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I'm glad you like it though. Like honestly, I wasn't sure what you would think of it.
Really? That seems like a movie made for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say that seems like that's a
Yeah.
Blake movie.
All right. So, what's it called? No, my number 3, Coda. I love
Okay.
an episode on that. I
Yes.
absolutely loved it.
Wow.
Number 2 is Licorice Pizza.
Mhm.
It was really close. It was my number 1 for a while, but I just rewatched my number 1 film again, and I'm gonna watch it again with you guys because I'm kind of curious on how you guys will think of this film. This is the current front runner for Best Picture.
Spiral.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, right. It's a
very
current front runner for
topical.
Best Picture. It took out Belfast, and
Yay.
it has every time I watch it, there's something new I gain from it, and I can see the structures. And I just recently purchased a book. I want to see how they adapt that. But it's Power of the Dog.
which I've already watched it. It didn't hit me quite as well as it hit Philip, I guess. But
And I guess like all the critics.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. What's it called?
Maybe
It's,
I just have better taste than the critics. Who knows?
Who
Yeah.
knows? But it's like I say, it's a slow meditative film. Like I don't want to get too much into it because there's an episode coming up regarding this, and we're pairing this up with another Western, The Harder They Fall, which was also a recommended film. Benedict Cumberbatch is absolutely, I think, it's his best performance ever given.
What about Khan?
Maybe. I mean,
My name is Khan.
I think it
his
is.
performance is undoubtedly good, but
Smaug.
Name one other performance.
I don't know.
You're gonna say Doctor Strange? I'm gonna slap you. Say Doctor Strange.
Miles is not gonna say Doctor Strange.
Hey,
I might just
Man.
say it because like
You
more
know what
likely
the
to say
thing is,
the water
though?
under the bridge is like cold tonight. So I'm just being
Doctor
a troll.
Strange is one of my favorite of the Marvel properties.
Oh gosh.
Hey.
Never
And
mind.
he was the second best thing in No Way Home behind Andrew Garfield. But,
Yeah.
other than that, I'm really not sure. I'm sure there's
So
some-
it is by default the best performance you've seen from him. But if you can't think of another one, that is.
Yeah.
My God.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
That's
Fine.
the
Whatever.
definition of best.
Yeah.
I mean, he was great in Imitation Game. Have you seen that?
He is great
Oh,
in
the imitation game? Okay, yeah, actually,
He
yeah,
was-
that would be his
yeah,
best
that was your best
performance.
for- okay.
I,
What about
I couldn't
Sherlock?
think of what?
Sherlock?
He's better in this one than Sherlock.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll say Sherlock's
Sherlock was
great.
really
Yeah.
bad.
What?
Wait, whoa. Okay, that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's
My
directed
family
by
likes it.
and it's directed by Jane Campion, who directed Piano, which had Anna Paquin, one of her earliest roles,
Oh my
and Holly
God.
Hunter.
I'm assuming that's not the Elijah Wood movie where he gets
No.
shot if he.
No, that's a completely different film. It's fun though. That film was fun. That's like a Hitchcock.
What's the fuck is that movie
homage.
called?
What's it called? And we might have an episode if we do Hitchcock on that. I really like that
We
one.
have to do a Hitchcock episode.
Hell yeah.
It's she also her last film was like almost 10 years ago, which was Bright Star, and she just kind of been drifting off, and so this is like a big comeback film. Honestly, I'm actually surprised that it's one of the most watched films this year on Netflix, considering that it's super fucking slow. As much as I love the film, I admit it's a slow fucking movie. And I'm surprised that like mainstream people are like, yeah, Power of the Dog. Fuck yeah, let me watch that film.
I watched the first half and had to unfortunately stop, and it was pretty good.
It is. It's just like
Also,
all
anything
the
with
people
Jesse
I've
Plemons-
recommended it to have hated it. Just saying.
right. No, it's not a. It's a.
I
it's
am
not a
surprised.
mainstream
It's,
film at
I
all.
am surprised it's doing so well.
Yeah, it's like 50, 60 million people watched it or some shit.
Wow.
And critically it's done, and everyone's jerking it off. I'm one of the people. But like I said, after we watch all the films that for the Oscar season, and all the films that we couldn't get to, it might change. It might not be my number one, but as of now, it's definitely for me. It's that one film. It's like, okay, it's the best movie of the year.
I'm really surprised Don't Look Up isn't your number one film.
Oh no,
I'm actually really surprised Minari's not there. I mean, I feel like you would really like that movie, but okay.
no, I love it. It's my
Yeah.
favorite film of 2020. Yeah, I have a 2020 list. It's actually number one there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Also, I just want to give a shout out, another honorable mention. I mean, Tick Tick Boom too.
Yeah, that's
up there. That's
it's
up
not.
there.
Yeah, it couldn't make it. Sadly, it got bumped out by all these other films. And actually, probably a lot of these films will probably get bumped out when we do our 2020 list. Not gonna when we do our 2021 list at the end. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where this list will be in a couple months because I need to watch a few more 2020 release or 2021 releases.
Yeah.
I will say though, Licorice Pizza, it's gonna climb. I'm gonna go watch it again. This
Yeah.
week.
Licorice Pizza is absolutely fantastic. It's probably
Paul
his best
Thomas
chance
Anderson.
at winning anything for
Did
now.
it kind of feel like he watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and went, I could do that?
But how's it going?
Maybe.
Okay, but have you seen Inherent Vice? Have you seen
Inherent Vice, I think, is the only movie by him I haven't seen.
Oh really? Okay.
People have
have you
like
seen
swayed me away from that.
what's his other 70s movie?
He had
um,
Boogie Nights.
Boogie Nights.
Boogie
yes.
Nights is one of my favorite movies of all time. Though,
Yeah.
so it's kind of hard to compare anything to Boogie Nights for me.
And once again, we'll have an episode on that. Thank you guys. What's it called?
Oh, are we getting to
What's it called? No, I mean, I think it's
Yeah.
fine. We don't have to do the ratings for those films.
All right,
Okay.
guys. So, did you enjoy 2021 in terms of film? What did you like? What was your favorite film? Do you have
Why was
one?
it Titan? Because that's
And-
the best movie
and
of
why
the
is
year.
Philip wrong? Please
Explain
tell
to
me.
why Spiral is your favorite film, and then we'll, get into an arguments in the comment section.
Yep.
Thank you. 2021. It's a year for movies. Bada bada boom.
We
Yeah,
appreciate-
yeah.
We appreciate you guys listening. This has been a journey. This whole year is our first year. We're like really trudging through. There's certain times, where it gets hard, but we push through, and we really hope if you guys are listening and if you're a subscriber and you're like, really listen, let us know. You know, make a comment, like whatever, because like we appreciate
We would
every one of you
love to
guys.
hear what you think.
you,
Yes,
guys.
please interact with us in the
Oh,
comments
special
because
shout out to Daniel. Thanks for the text message.
Yeah, hey, and Henry too, dude. Thanks.
Henry, what's up?
Thanks for
Yeah.
listening, man.
I've heard that I'm your
You're-
favorite. Thanks.
All right, onward to 2022, and hopefully more have a clue. Thank you guys.
Woo!
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.